Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. But look, if you are watching this on the replay, we talk about all types of things. The entire live stream is a Q&A session. So basically how this goes down is during the live stream, people ask questions and then I answer them. So right now, I have no idea what the questions are going to be, but after the stream is complete, we're going to put timestamps down to the description for you so that once the stream is finished, if you are coming in here on the replay, then you can just jump down to those timestamps and you can see exactly what was talked about during the stream. And you can jump to the questions that matter the most to you. Or if you want to learn a bunch of different stuff about YouTube and just be part of the conversation, then you can sit back and listen to or watch the whole thing. Shout out to the crowd watching from or listening to this while you are at work or, wherever it is that you happen to be. I just got the audio. So what was just happening there is I didn't mute my YouTube because I was listening to the Mug song from my trailer before we started going. So it should be okay now. So just let me know if it is still being a little bit weird because I had a low audio thing kind of coming in there. So just give me that confirmation when you get a moment. So with all of that out of the way, I do want to let you know that D is still out of town. He's on his way back, but he is out of town. So because of that, we are going to be rolling through just answering as many questions as we can possibly answer today. And hopefully the main mic still sounds like I'm underwater. That's unfortunate. So let's see here. I will see if I can troubleshoot this here for a moment. Let me make sure that this is muted also. So this is all running through the Rodecaster. That is coming up there. We don't have any feedback coming through the speakers. Let me make sure this is muted, which it is. Explore Norway says it sounds normal, so I always sound like I'm underwater. So, so hopefully, I just made a couple of quick adjustments here. So let me know if that sounds any better. And if not, then I might have to just change the settings inside of the streaming software that I'm using because unfortunately, sometimes those types of things happen. I just turned off the echo cancellation as well, so hopefully that'll be good. But if this is your first time here, I have a link down in the description where you can put your questions about anything it is that you are running into on YouTube. So if you're watching this from Twitter or anywhere else, then you can just go to nicknimmin.com/ask. And it is going to be able to just redirect you right to that form. So it doesn't matter where you're watching from. Turn it back on. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you're watching from. If you are wanting to, get a question answered on the stream today, that is exactly how you do it. Turn the echo back on, and here we go. So a few things that I do want to let you know about as we get into the stream today from a YouTube news point of view. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. Is that YouTube has, and this is all from the creator, most of it's from the Creator Insider channel. So the very first thing is that new YouTube updates for the Dream Screen. So I hope they've got a long game and plan for that particular feature. Not a gigantic, fan of that particular feature, but they have made some updates to it. So if you are using that feature, definitely make sure you look into those. An important thing, hey, Tiffany, what's going on? Nice to see you. An important thing that everybody here should know about, and I'm actually going to look really quick and see if I can pull this up so that you can see what is going on. So, let me see, because I know for a fact that I actually have received these emails, and I just want to show it to you so you can see what it looks like here. So I'm just going to put in YouTube and see if it pops up here. Okay. So let's see here, making sure. Okay. So the thing I wanted to share with you here, and you need to keep an eye out for this because this is super shady. And since it is super shady, it's something that, people are using to gain access to YouTube channels and stuff like that. But basically, there is this scam going around where it has a private video was shared with you. You can see that right up here in the top. And then as another part of this, you can see right here that it comes from YouTube. So it looks legit. Okay. Now, as a part of this also, you see here, Monetization Alerts has shared a private video with you on YouTube. Now, what happens is when you click this, it's an AI generated video from Neil Mohan, the CEO of YouTube, that is talking about monetization changes and saying that you have to click a link in order to, like not have problems with your monetization. And they are using this particular thing to gain access to YouTube channels. So because of that, if you get an email from anywhere at any time that says a private video was shared with you, unless you have somebody that you know that is saying, hey, I uploaded this video and I want you to check it out, and you know that person, unless that happens, do not respond to these particular emails, because they're not going to just, contact you out of the blue. One of the things that they did mention in the Creator Insider video about this was that YouTube will never contact you and, things like that. They do, actually. So sometimes they do contact you to be a part of, like experimental things they're doing, or whatever the thing is. So they can, and they do, like as you kind of progress through things. But it's not like this, right? It's official, and they don't have like links you got to click on and stuff like that usually. But you just want to be really aware about this sort of thing, and do not respond to or even bother opening up an email if it says that a private video was shared with you. Okay. So this is super important. Make sure that if you have a YouTuber friend, that you share this information with them. You don't have to share the stream with them, but just let them know that this is going on, because these are, like, if I go back to my email right now, because I just searched for YouTube, I've had since, let's see here, they were doing this back in January, by the way, but let's see here, just since February 21st, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these hit my email, just since February 21st. So, just be vigilant, because, people are out there trying to get into your YouTube channels so that they can run crypto scams and, all of these other things that people do once they, get that access. So another thing that I want to bring your attention to, and I can't show you this because of my stream key. Maybe if I just kind of zoom in, then I'll be able to show you there. Let me just do a quick thing here. But I'm bringing this one to your attention. Doug mentioned this in his live stream, and I saw it earlier today also when I was in there. But this is, by the way, make sure you're following Doug Houston's YouTube channel. He goes live before these live streams, and he shares this type of stuff and keeps people up to date with everything that's happening on YouTube. So make sure that you do follow Doug Houston, who's in the chat right now. But I can share this with you, I believe, because I've got everything zoomed in here. And I'm just going to bring it down real quick. If not, okay. So right up here, if you're a live streamer, YouTube added a break timer. So how this works is you can assign a video to it, and this will talk to like OBS or your Ecamm or anything like that you're using, where you can use a browser source to import the video. And basically what it does is it makes it to where when you click on this, then you can play a video during your live streams, kind of like I do with my coffee song, except it can be any video that you make specifically for this, or it can also be for anything that you do around, just anything you want to do around your channel. You can make a dedicated video for it, and then it can pop up there in the event. Hold on, I'm trying to minimize this and just failing miserably. There we go. But basically that feature is also something new for YouTube. And another thing that I want to bring to your attention on the creator news side of things. And then remember, we have a form down in the description where you can get your questions answered. So make sure that you if you have a question, that you do put it down in the form, or you can go to nicknimmin.com/ask, and that will redirect you to the form. But another thing that I do want to let you know about is social media today. They put out a thing from YouTube here, where they mentioned that YouTube is starting a series of creator collective meetups across the US. So what this is it's going to be happening in all 50 states, but it's going to be, they're running IRL meetups in all 50 states throughout 2025, and you can RSVP to each specific meetup here. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to this in the chat here. And this is directly from, YouTube's version of it. I guess I should have, just used that one originally. Hold on, give me 1 second here. So with this particular thing, paste There we go. That's YouTube's blog post about it. But with that, it's IRL meetup. So to my understanding, what these are going to be is these are going to be, like all over the country where you can go and you can, talk to YouTube. And I think some of these are going to be like workshop type things and stuff like that. Some of them are going to align with conferences. Hopefully they're going to do something around Vid Summit. We'll see. But some of these are going to align with conferences like VidCon, for example. I think they're going to be doing something around that. But this is, just something that you might want to be aware of so that you can keep an eye on things that are happening in your state so that you can say, hey, they're going to be doing this in my state and I want to go there for, that particular workshop. Right. So definitely make sure that you check that out as well. And I think that that has us covered. So since we are getting ready to answer the questions, if you are a TubeSpanner user, make sure that you get your TubeSpanner tool out. Just in case you're not familiar with why I say that sometimes when we start the live streams, is TubeSpanner has this notes tool right here where you can hit the option to add notes. It's a browser extension for Chrome. Actually, it works on all the different browsers. But basically, as I'm streaming, you can take notes here, and it locks the timestamp in there, and then you can export them as chapters if you want to, or you can just come back to the live stream, and then the notes will be there for you like later if you have anything to where you're like, oh wow, that makes sense, or I want to remember this part or something like that. But you can get that at tubespanner.com, or just go to the Chrome store and type in TubeSpanner in the Chrome store or the Firefox store or wherever it is that you get your stuff. So now we're going to go ahead and get to the questions. So basically, hope everybody's had a fantastic week. I know that I have. Just kind of, cruising along, with the week, and I'm getting ready for Social Media Marketing World, which is coming up. So making some extra content so that stuff can be going out while I'm away, so we can get a little bit more consistency rolling here. And just super good week, making a lot of progress on the app and stuff. I've got it. If you're a channel member, by the way. If you want to beta test, if you're a channel member with an iPhone and you want to beta test my new app that is coming out that I'll be submitting here probably within the next like 2 or 3 days. If you want to beta test that, let me know. Just let me know in Discord. Just say, hey, I want to test your app or whatever. And then I can shoot you a message in Discord because I have to send you an actual invite link, for it. But if you do want to test that out as a part of being a tester, and this is why I'm making it for channel members only, as a part of being a tester, you will also get a promo code to where you'll be able to get the app for free once I do put the app out. So the only thing I ask in exchange for that, if you do want to test it, is that you give me feedback. So, tell me the things that, you think could be better. Tell me things that you would like me to add to it that you think would help you with your workflow, that type of thing. But if you want to participate in that, just let me know in like Discord, or, you can shoot me a DM anywhere it is that you want, or shoot me an email at asknimmin@gmail.com. And then we will get you sorted in there. Because I can use as much feedback as I possibly can because I'm making it for you. So because of that, when I, have it out there for testing, any feedback, is appreciated. Like right now, for example, Chantel's testing it as one of the testers, and I've got, some other testers as well. But if that is something that you're interested in, the more the merrier when it comes to that party. Okay. So next up, we've got the first up, I should say, on our questions today, we got the Blind Bard. What's going on? They have been making videos for less than 6 months. They have an entertainment channel. The main goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what they like. And the question is, I did an impromptu interview with a game designer at a conference. When I went to review the footage, the audio is terrible because we recorded on the iPhone 13 Pro and there's lots of background noise and conversations. Do you have any recommendation for software that gets rid of background noise and conversation? Yes, there's a tool called Adobe Podcast Enhance that is awesome for that kind of stuff. So with that particular tool, here, let me, I'll actually show you here. Podcast Enhance. Podcast Adobe Enhance. I'm just making sure no emails or anything. Okay, we're clear. So yeah, so right here, So with Adobe Podcast Enhance, how this works is all you have to do is, you have to create an account or whatever. This is part of Adobe. So if you use Adobe Premiere or anything like that, then you can get access to this already. But basically all you do is you upload your audio into a little place over here. And then you tell it to enhance the speech, and then it makes your voice sound amazing. So one of the cool things about this is it covers like background noise. It adds like dynamics to your voice and just makes your voice have more presence and sound fuller. But you can find that at podcast.adobe.com/enhance is where you can find that particular tool. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention as well, and I'm actually using this to make some vertical videos during my live streams now. It's actually what's in this fuzzy thing right here. But these are also great. I don't know if you are aware of these or not, the existence of these. But if you look at how small this is right here, this is a microphone. So one of the cool things about this, you can see, I mean, it's just a little bit bigger than my thumbnail. One of the cool things about this is that if you press on this button right here, you can see it's blue, right? If we press on this button right here, hold on, do I have to press it longer? Great. Hope I don't turn it on for all of them. We'll see. Oh, you know what? I bet it's not connected. I didn't connect it before. No, it should connect automatically. Anyway, when you turn this on, there we go. You can see it's green now. It just had to connect. So basically, when you turn that on, that green, it means that it's processing the audio for you. And it sounds pretty good. So if you are just using like this by itself, it can, like, it's not going to remove like everything. But from my experimentations, I can have this running with my air conditioner running, and it effectively works just like one of these do. Let me turn that noise canceling off. But it effectively works just like, one of these microphones do in terms of, just removing all of that background stuff while you are, while you're recording your content, which is pretty awesome. But this is from a company, and I bought this. I don't have any relationship with them. It's just an awesome product. But it's from a company called Hollyland, that particular microphone, and it's called the something M2. Yeah, they don't have it on the box. Oh, that's kind of irresponsible for promotion purposes, right? When I want to talk about it, but yeah, I think it's called like a Lark M2. I believe that's what it is. But another cool thing about this, not to just kind of shout on them too much, but I just respect them for doing this, is, when it comes to a lot of these companies like Rode, for example, they put their logos all over everything. Like, you can't do anything, if you have a Rode product, you have to intentionally try to cover up the logo because they, logo everything up. With this, they put the viewer first, or the user first. See how it's black? So it comes with the logo on it that looks like this, but they give you a pack of stickers. And they make it to where, you can do it without promoting them if you want. And you can also just make it look a lot cleaner when it's, when you have it sitting on your clothes or something like that, which is really cool. So they're thinking of the user first here. Instead of thinking of promoting the company first, they're thinking of the user first, which I can really appreciate, that. But again, if you look at the size, like, look at that compared to my eye, right? It's super small. And it's got a magnet, so you can connect it to anything. Comes with a bunch of different like clips and stuff. I've got it clipped on here right now. I've got the magnet version here. I can just take it off. But then it also has like a little clip here where you can clip it to your clothes, or use it in situations kind of like I'm doing right now. iPhone Chris, thanks for super chat, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, so Tiffany says that she, always puts her DJI mic inside of her shirt. Yeah, that's a good solution as well. And you can do a very similar thing with this. You can connect it to your collar, like whatever. Like, it's super small and lightweight, so you can put it pretty much anywhere it is that you want. And Homekeeping Channel, really quick, some feedback on the Adobe Enhance. Homekeeping Channel says that they use the Adobe Enhance on all of their videos. Yeah, it's great. So right now, I'm having a bunch of shorts made, and we are running everything through that as well on those. So the ones I'm recording here, just to, make processing easy and things like that for that particular editor, we are, just running everything through there so that we can just get a bunch of them, finished kind of quickly, so that we can, start plugging away at those across platforms. What's up, Jerry? Hope you're doing awesome, man. Larry, what's going on, dude? Hope you're doing great too. All right. What's up, Catherine? Hope you are doing great. Hope you won that competition. So the next up on the list here, we got Joyful Trails is the next question. If you're just joining us, we're talking about all things related to YouTube. So if you're a content creator, we've got you covered here. If you got a question about anything it is you're trying to do on YouTube, tech, anything like that, don't know everything, but can definitely, help. Got over a decade of experience on this, on my own stuff, and working with other content creators as well. So if you've got a problem, there's a really good chance that I've dealt with it in some particular way. So I'm here to help. If you have a question, it's free. You can put your question in the form that is down in the description below, or go to nicknimmin.com/ask. So Joyful Trails is the name of the channel here. They upload 1 time per week or more on YouTube. The goal is to have fun. And the question is, I've had several viewers actually suggest to me that I offer t-shirts, stickers, etc. What company would you recommend for a merch store? So Spreadshop is a good one. Fourth Wall is also a good one. So Fourth Wall is newer to the scene. Spreadshop has been around forever, but just some options for you for stickers. So you have Sticker Mule, you have Redbubble, you have Spreadshop, you have Fourth Wall. All of those, you can do it. Technically, you can even order some custom stickers off of Amazon. But if you're going to be getting merch and everything, then in that particular case, you have Spreadshop, you have Printful, you have Fourth Wall. I did Spreadshop. Teespring is another one, but I know Printful, Spreadshop, and Fourth Wall in terms of the quality of what it is that you get are great. And I don't know about Fourth Wall and the other one, but I know that Spreadshop does ship internationally. So if you have international viewers, which almost everyone does, then in that particular case, if they're going to be getting your merch as well, you want to make sure that you can get it to them, and that they don't get kind of blocked at the cart when they're trying to check out. So yeah, you can use any of those services. And Doug just listed them right here in the chat as well to let you know what's going on there. Yeah, the Elgato Wave is pretty solid too. Like I haven't personally used it, but I know people that have that just rave about it, saying that that's pretty good also. So let's see here. So next up, we've got Explore Norway. The question is, I recently got contacted by a guy in Discord claiming he's a guy who promotes his channel, the usual SEO, backlinks, etc., while showing a channel which seems successful. I doubt it's his. And then he mentioned something called warming up a channel, which I've never heard of. Any ideas on what it is? Only found a video about which says it's watching tons of videos from your niche, and please make a debunk video of all these things so I can share it with these people. So YouTube actually, Renee Ritchie specifically, YouTube's creator liaison, he actively tries to make debunk videos about all of these crazy things that people come up with, and that particular thing is another thing. So I was actually talking to somebody on Reddit about this, and they made a post there talking about like warming them up, and I was like, where do you get this stuff? And he's like, oh, and he linked to this video, and it's just some guy that just pretty much made it up and said that you got to like warm up your channel. And the thing is when it comes to YouTube, without question, sometimes maybe based on how you are optimizing your content, maybe it might be to where YouTube is having a little bit of difficulty just getting super clear on who it is to show your content to. That's why when it comes to new channels, they give a little bit more love to new channels. So when you publish a video and you're a new content creator, you actually get extra spots on YouTube for a little bit longer so that they can try to find those ideal viewers for you. So when it comes to warming up a channel, the videos that you watch make no difference whatsoever. So the idea of, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to watch a bunch of videos in my niche, that's complete nonsense. The thing that matters is when you're publishing videos to your channel, who is interacting with those videos. That's what matters. Watching other YouTube videos makes no difference whatsoever on your channel. So like with that person's mindset, I just want you to think about this. With the person's mindset that is saying that you need to warm up a channel, it would work in the same exact way like once your channel's rolling too. So that means that if you are listening to music all the time, in the background, then there's a really good chance that your channel's going to get suggested just to people that listen to music, right? Like it just doesn't make any sense. But YouTube is very clear about the fact, and they've said it publicly, in interviews. Renee's actually talked about it right here in the chat before. But basically, when it comes to your experience on YouTube as a content creator, it's all about who's watching your content. It's not about what you are watching. Okay. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. Yeah, people come up with all kinds of like interesting things like that. And I think some people do it because it makes it seem like they know something that other people don't. And then people are like, "Oh, okay, I haven't heard that before. That's new." So that, yeah, that makes total sense. But like if you just kind of, work that out a little bit, yeah, it's nonsense. Another thing too is, when it comes to warming up a channel, if that was also true, then in that particular case, you wouldn't have situations where a content creator publishes their very first video and people respond well to it and that video blows up. That happens all the time, right? Also, there's the situation where people will publish, videos to, like an experienced creator will start a new channel. And when they start that new channel and they start publishing videos to it, then, because they know what they're doing, they can get that channel, traction relatively fast as well. So, you have all these other, variables that are in play, but all of those are about the viewer and the content choices that you're making. And the thing when it comes to, again, just to kind of beat on this just for just one more second, when it comes to the thing about like warming up a channel and things like that, the other thing that is important to make sure that you are always considering is that, one video, if you have, good content, one video, if it's your first video or if it's your, 1000th video, that one video that's good that viewers respond to well is going to be the one that, gets you traction. It's not going to be, how long you've had your channel for. There's people with channels that have been on YouTube for years and they still can't get, 500 subscribers on their YouTube channel, more than, 100 views on the videos that they publish, right? So if the warm up thing was a factor, then, that would also be different. So next up, we've got Good Optometry Morning. It's eye care made simple. Like it. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. It's educational content. The goal is to teach others. And the question is, I'm baffled by my most popular video. The thumbnail is horrible. The title is long and doesn't follow the typical best practices. Description is just copy and paste of a transcript. Script is bad. No hook. Long intro. I didn't comb my hair. The things we think matter, right? I didn't comb my hair. That's like me. I'm like, oh, it's video day. I better make sure that I shave today, right? Or hey, I'm streaming. I better make sure that I shave today, right? Yeah, like the things that we think matter, right? Viewers complain regularly about some popping noises. I put in for graphics. I try to make an update of this video in the same topic, doing things correct, but they never have the popularity of this video. I don't know if I should ignore this video or if I should try to learn something from it. Try to learn something from it. Maybe the polished stuff isn't what your people are looking for. Also, keep in mind that topics carry a heavy weight. So basically, if that topic specifically is something where people are like, oh yeah, this is something that I need or something I'm trying to figure out, then in that particular case, it gives you the opportunity to be like, hey, they're really into this topic. So what else might they be into? And I'm actually just hitting your popular videos here. So I see like the 1.7 million view video on here. You've actually got some, pretty good videos here on your YouTube channel. But when it comes to the best practices and things like that, they are best practices, but sometimes you can break the rules and you can still have videos do really good. And the reason for that is because and you'll hear me say this all the time, is that when it comes to YouTube, everything is based on response. So even though you, as the person that makes it, might be like, well, technically it's not up to par. And yeah, the title was a little bit long, or it's like longer than it should have been. And the thumbnail is horrible. It did the job, right? So the viewers that saw it were like, hey, I'm interested in this. And then they, went in and they clicked a video and then they enjoyed that video and YouTube detected it and they showed it to more people. Other things as well that you can look into for that particular video is, I don't know if you've went into the traffic sources for that video either. So, one thing is if you go into the traffic sources report for that video, you might find that maybe you're not getting all of those views in the recommendation system. You might be, but maybe you're getting a lot of views from like Google search or from YouTube search or something like that. And that's what's also helping that video do well. So, there's different variables like that also. So when it comes to the short titles, the typical play for that is if you are going for recommendations intentionally, but having longer titles is fine. But YouTube even recommends that you limit them to 60 characters. If you want to just fully optimize, just to make sure that you're always in the clear on every single platform your content gets shown, then somewhere around like 52, 53 characters is going to be the win. But when it comes to titles, yeah, long titles, they can get clicks too. The thing when it comes to long titles, and I don't know if yours breaks this or not, but also what matters is the part of the title that happens before truncation. So even if the title is longer, if the important part that matters the most to the viewer is happening or visible before it truncates, then in that case, it still has the information that the viewer needs to make the decision to actually click on that video and go in and watch it, right? So those types of things happen. But in terms of trying to replicate it, I'm not sure, because you've got a nice stable of videos here, so I'm not sure exactly which one you are referring to. But when it comes to what it is that you're doing, I would definitely look at that topic and just think to yourself, okay, if this video still has legs, like what would be a great perfect fit? Like the people that were interested in this, what could the next thing be that I can make for that I can make for them, that they would be likely to engage in. Let's see here. So Neptune,
super chat.
Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Tube Spanner in the house. What's going on, Danielle? Did you hear what happened to Dracula when he used copyrighted music and he had 3 strikes? Account suspended. That's a good one. I like that one. I think you had 2 good ones in a row. I think last week's was good too. I can't remember exactly what the one was last week, but yeah, that's good. I think you might have had 2 winners here, 2 back to back. You're on a roll. You got some streaks now. No, my supers are on. Hey, what's going on? Build and Fix with Mooney. Doug confirming that also. Yeah, we're good. So next question that we have here on our list is from Gardening with Bear Brown. Gardening with Bear Brown. They upload 1 time per week or more. They've been making videos for 1 year or more. They do educational content. The goal of the channel is to quit their job. And the question is, do I check the box paid promotion if I say the video is sponsored by this company? Check the link below, and I don't feature any products in that video. So if you say that the video is sponsored by a company and they have given you either product or they have given you money, then in that particular case, you need to check that box. So the rule when it comes to, hey, what's going on, Jason? The rule when it comes to YouTube and that box is if you got anything that was for that video, like if they gave you something and you didn't come out of pocket for it, or they gave you money, then in that particular case, either one of those situations, you need to make sure that you are, you need to make sure you're disclosing. Next up, we got Worldwide Folklore Tales. Sounds cool. Uploads 1 time per week or more. They do paranormal and folklore content. Just really quick. So I ran across the paranormal thing made me think about this. So I ran across this lady on TikTok. She claims to be a human shell or a human vessel for alien communication. And this is what I love about the internet, right? So she claims to be an alien vessel for a human vessel for alien communication, and she basically, I think she's trying to be like what's the guy's name? Bashar, I think he is. But basically, what she's doing is she's trying to present herself as somebody that aliens communicate to her telepathically, which by itself is great. So it's like, oh, so you're just thinking about stuff then, like you're just making stuff up in your brain. But anyway, so aliens communicate to her telepathically, and she even wears like she's got this like little thing right here, like this little gold thing with like a little like crystal on it, and like it's great. But like she's playing the whole part. It's great. But she was saying that I don't know, maybe it might happen sometime while we're streaming today, and aren't I going to feel stupid if this actually happens, right? Because I'm talking about this. But one of the things that she said was that within 48 hours, and she posted this on the 13th. So I mean, we're there. But she posted on the 13th that within 48 hours, there was going to be like a mothership in the sky. So that's what the aliens told her. And I was like, man, talk about putting it all on the line, right? She's like, hey, the mothership's coming, and it's coming within 48 hours, right? I was like, oh my gosh. Like a lot of times when you have those people that do that kind of stuff, they have all these like vague, ways out, right? I know I saw another person that did something similar, and their way out was like, oh, well, in order to see it, you have to be of the right vibrational frequency or like whatever, like that's their, kind of workaround. But yeah, that particular one, it was just, no shade on her, right? Like, what do I know? Like, I don't know, who knows? Maybe she is talking to aliens. But the thing that I thought was just hilarious was just the pinpointing of exactly when, the stuff should be happening. Yeah, it was good. Really good. Beanie Draws, what's going on, dude?
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. I mean, you've been here. So yeah, so we got a Facebook group. We've also got the Discord. So the public Discord, since you've been, absent, the public Discord has now gone just members only. So it's just members in there now. But we have the Facebook group too. So we got Shark Scrapper listening while on the road. 6 more hours of road ahead. Hey, keep your eyes on the road and hands upon the wheel, right? Okay, so back to the question here. Worldwide Folklore Tales. They do, says, do you think tube boosters for new subscribers, likes, or views is a valuable tool? And what are the upsides of using one? And very importantly, what are the pitfalls to using one? So anything that offers to help you get, in exchange for money, that offers to help you get subscribers, like a service, like, hey, give us money. And then over the next, couple weeks, you're going to wake up and have subscribers on your YouTube channel. So when it comes to that kind of thing, I would not use that. If you have any intentions of growing your YouTube channel. And the reason for that is because a lot of those services, they'll either use bots to inflate your numbers. They'll run ads on your videos to low tier countries. And I don't mean low tier in terms of just the quality of the country. I mean low tier in terms of ad rates. So, they'll be running ads for your videos in like Ghana and and things like that, to where, you can get ads for super, super cheap. But you're giving them, let's say $20 or $100 or $500 or whatever the thing is. And they're spending like, $10, right? And then they're just flooding your channel with a bunch of people that are not into what it is that you're doing, which is the bigger thing that I want to talk about. When you buy subscribers for your YouTube channel, which is something that a lot of people experiment with, especially as they are getting started as a content creator, they see subscribers coming in, or if they do it for views, they see views coming in. The problem is since those are bots or they are advertised views, what ends up happening is, since you didn't learn the foundational skill set of being able to come up with video ideas and package those video ideas in a way that will cause people to click on them, and then once people click on them, you haven't learned the skills of how to make videos that people will keep watching and keep engaging with, and that they'll want to come back and watch more of. If you haven't developed the skills in order to make all of that stuff happen, then as soon as you turn off the ad spend, then you're going to go right back to zero again, because all of the supposed subscribers, all the supposed views that they got you, even if it's legitimate, even if you ran an ad campaign using YouTube's built-in promotions features on your channel, as soon as you turn that off, if you haven't learned the fundamental skill of how do I get people to, come into my video content and enjoy it, if you haven't learned that yet, then as soon as you turn it off, everything's going to come to a screeching halt, and everything that you have done prior is going to be a complete waste of money. So because of that, what you want to do if you want to thrive on YouTube is you want to learn the art of coming up with good video ideas that the people that you're trying to reach with your content are likely to respond to. As many of them as possible for as many videos as you possibly can. It makes sense to niche down and things like that, right? For, very specific things within your niche if it adds value. But if you're wanting to get the ball rolling, you want to try to think broad. Like, okay, these are the people that I'm trying to target, but I'm going to make sure that I'm making videos about topics that will matter to the largest amount of these people that I'm targeting, okay? So you do that. Then you got to learn how to package your videos up in terms of the thumbnail and title if it's long form content. Thumbnail, the goal there is to help people identify at a glance that it's something that they are likely to care about. Okay. Next is the title. Once the thumbnail grabs their attention, they might get some information in the thumbnail about what the video is about, but they're also going to look at the title. So when they look at the title, your title needs to be compelling or informative or create some type of curiosity gap or something like that, where they will be like, yeah, I want to check this out. And they click into the video. Okay. There's step one. Then once they come into the video, then you have to get the skill set of being able to capture their attention when they first come into the video. You have to develop the skill set of being able to grab their attention when they first come into the video. And then you need to be able to keep them watching for an acceptable amount of time per YouTube. In some cases, that might be a minute or 2 minutes. In some cases, that might be 15 minutes, depending on what it is that you're competing against. But the idea is that you have to learn how to do the things, and you can't shortcut YouTube. Shortcuts don't exist. Strategies exist. Tactics exist. Things that you can do better exist, but shortcuts do not. This is hard work. It can be challenging. You have to develop skills in order to make it happen, and you cannot buy your way through that outside of hiring professionals to help you. So for example, if you don't know how to make videos, you can hire production people to help you make good videos. If you don't know how to process or edit videos, you can hire people to do that for you. If you don't know how to present, you can hire people to do that. You can hire people to make thumbnails. You can hire people to do it all. That's the way that you can, use money to make it possible. But outside of that approach, there's no actual, shortcuts when it comes to YouTube. You have to walk through the fire, so to speak, and you have to learn the things that, your audience responds well to, and you have to learn the best practices and follow the best practices to, give you the best possible chance of thriving here on the platform. Yeah, it's unfortunate that people get caught up in that stuff, and when it comes to people using those types of services, like shame on those services, right? I mean, there's crypto scammers and stuff like that too. I mean, there's scammers all over the place, but like shame on those services for being like, hey, give us money in exchange. We're gonna add subscribers to your YouTube channel. Like what a crappy thing to do, especially when they know that it's not actually helping you in any way, shape, or form, right? And one of the arguments that people give is they'll say things like, if somebody clicks or if somebody has a lot of subscribers on their channel, then it'll make people watch their videos more because they'll think that it's a better video because they have subscribers. Well, when somebody sees your video on YouTube's homepage or suggested videos, or even in search, it doesn't show your subscriber count next to it. It'll show a view count, but it won't show the subscriber count next to it. All they're doing is they're looking for that thing that matters to them. And then they're clicking on that thing, and then they're going in there and watching. And if they're not clicking on it, if you're making like a YouTube short or up to 3-minute short on YouTube, in that particular case, then you can remove the skill set about making thumbnails, but everything else still applies. You still got to be able to have the skill sets of being able to capture people's attention and hold their attention. Yeah, and Home Rapid Repair says subs are the least important that they've ever been. Totally. Yeah, it's a different game now. TikTok came in and changed everything. So, now everything is just based on, 100% response. Here's a topic that you put out. I mean, of course, when people subscribe to your YouTube channel, it does matter because that tells YouTube that, hey, they are into it and it's a positive signal for YouTube. So that does matter. Plus you get some, extra perks along the way with subscriber counts, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to your video performance, doesn't really matter. A channel with a bunch of subscribers on it, YouTube has a better idea of who to show that content to right at the time of publish, compared to maybe somebody with no subscribers or no people that are interacting with the content. But, a new channel can easily pass up in terms of view counts an established channel with bunches of subscribers on it. So like in my channel, my last video that I published, currently it's like an 8 or 9 out of 10. And it's got, I think it's been like a couple of days now, and it's got like 3,000, something views on it. It's like a 20-minute video about getting brand deals. So one of the things that I mentioned when we were talking about the buying, subscribers and all that stuff, is I mentioned the thing about making content for a wide amount of people within your niche, but it's okay to, go niche within your niche sometimes. So that video that I published, that particular one is like niche within a niche. So the majority of the people that are interacting with my YouTube channel are small YouTube channels or new YouTube channels. So because of that, when I publish a video about brand deals, initially those videos always tank. And the reason for that is because they're just not appropriate for like my, immediate audience that's interacting with most of my content. Some it is. That's why it's got, the views on it that it has. But in terms of, somebody that's trying to figure this stuff out, them going like, oh yeah, brand deals, I'm totally ready for that now. Right. Some people are, but most people, aren't. So because of that, that type of video will end up doing better over time. Same exact thing happened to the last video that Justin and I did like that. First published, it was like a 10 out of 10. And then now it's got, I think, almost like 50,000 views on it or whatever, which is good. A lot of that from YouTube search. So the people that do need it end up finding it over time, right? And the one before that was about creator funding. I think that one still doesn't have. It's my Fundmates video. So Fundmates, just in case you don't know, it's like a crowd, or not a crowdfunding, but it's a funding platform for content creators. A lot of people don't know these services even exist. But with that particular video, the whole video is talking about, Fundmates and how to use their service, and, the benefits of using their service, and how you don't have to do like credit checks or anything like that in order to get loans from them, or in order to use their service, I should say. And in that particular thing, like, there's a lot of content creators that can use that service. But again, the immediate audience, there's a small percentage of people have already, signed up from it, from my audience, but there's a smaller percentage of people that are interested in that particular video, right? So you just have to keep those types of things in mind when it comes to publishing content. And that's leaning into Home Rapid Repair. It's leaning into his message here about subscribers not being as important as they've ever been. So you publish videos on a topic that just doesn't land with your viewers. It might take a while for that video to get a decent amount of views on it, right? Whereas if you publish something that's a perfect fit for your video, for your viewers, grabs their attention, they come into the video and they're getting exactly what they wanted out of it, that video is probably going to do okay, right? So yeah, it's all about how people respond to the content and the topic of the content. Those things are huge. And really quick, Guitar Giveaway channel makes an excellent point here. They say, learn every YouTube skill yourself before outsourcing. Don't be lazy. Don't chase money. Entertain your YouTube community. Put viewers and subscribers first. They're the only ones that matter. Yeah, this is good. Especially the part about learning the skills yourself. And the reason that's important is because if you hire an editor and you don't know anything about editing, then in that case, you don't know if you're getting ripped off or not. You don't know if it's a good edit or not, right? So if you are hiring somebody to do other things for you, if you don't, have an idea, then in that particular case, you might end up working against yourself by hiring somebody. Ron's Trains and Things. What's going up, dude? Turbo the Tech Nerd. What's going on? So next up on our list, we've got Marius Matelou.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Marius Mateo, I think is how you might say that. They do travel vlogs. The goal is to quit their job. The question is, how do I find my passion so I don't run out of subject to make videos about? So that's a really great question. When it comes to finding your passion, the first thing that I would think about is, what is it that you're already interested in? What are the things that you talk about a lot when you're hanging out with friends? What are things that people in your life come to you for? For example, are you the person that everybody goes to when they're dealing with a tech problem? Are you the person that everybody comes to when they're dealing with a relationship problem? Are you the person that everybody comes to when they're trying to figure out the best cocktails to make, right? Or how to make cocktails, or, whatever. Are you the person everybody comes to when they're trying to figure out the things to do around town? Are you the person that people come to when they're having a problem at home and they need somebody to help them build something or fix something, right? Like looking at your passions through that lens can really just help you identify things. Also, look on YouTube. What type of videos do you consume? What types of books do you read? What type of podcast do you listen to, if any? And just looking at your own life and saying, okay, what is it that I do on a daily basis? What is it that I do on a weekly or monthly basis, to where I'm just interacting with these particular things a lot, because these are things that I'm interested in. If you focus on that type of thing, it's going to help you uncover your own passions. And if you don't have anything, if you're just like, hey, I just kind of watch TV and and I work, then in that particular case, then you might have to dig a little bit, or make content about watching stuff on TV or your job, but basically in a situation like that where all you do is watch TV and work, and I'm not saying that's what you do, but if it is, then you might have to dig a little bit more, right? And then you might have to start actively trying to figure out what it is that you care about the most. And then from there, start making videos on that. When it comes to making videos for YouTube, one of the things that is important is to not necessarily, you don't have to be passionate about it, but you just have to be interested enough to where you can keep making videos about it for a long period of time, because YouTube is a long game. It's a marathon. I'm sure you've heard that before. So when it comes to YouTube being a marathon, you're probably going to be doing this for a while. So if you're going to be doing it for a while, it makes sense to do something around the things that you're interested in, because you're going to be fully immersed in it. When you're talking to other people about your channel, when you're making videos about it, when you're looking for information about it, and if you happen to go to things around the type of content that you make, events and things like that, then you're going to be fully immersed there. Like there's just so much that kind of keeps you pulled into what it is that you're doing, and you're going to get known for it as well. So because of that, trying to figure out, what it is that you care about the most and that you're most passionate in, it's definitely worth it. And hopefully that helps in terms of the kind of way there. And also when it comes to subjects to make videos about, there's another thing that you can do is once you do get a general gauge, right? Once you do say like, okay, I do know that I'm interested in these kind of things. Okay. Here, I'm actually just going to demo this. Since I'm at home, all this stuff's easier to do. So I'm just going to do it here. I'm going to go to a few different things for you here. Let's see here. Let's go back to YouTube. Okay, we're going to go to this one first, and then we're going to go to YouTube. And okay, so the very first place I'm going to show you here, and we're just going to kind of go through some of these. So this website right here is called Answer the Public. And what this does is, and keep in mind, you get 3 free searches a day on this one. So if you're trying to come up with video ideas, this is just one of the sources that you can use. So this is called Answer the Public. And what you do, and let me just pick somebody out of the chat here. So let's see here. So, okay, so we're just going to do folklore. Okay, since that was the last thing that we talked about. So we're going to go folklore. And I don't know what's going to come up here, but I'm going to set this to the United States. Did I go past it? My mouse is too sensitive. Here, let me just do this. United States. Boom. And then I don't know why that's in Polish, but we're going to go here for English. And then basically I just put folklore. I have no idea what type of output this is going to give us, but we're just going to go for it anyway. So I'm going to hit search here. And then on Answer the Public, we're going to see what people are looking for about folklore. And again, this is one where you get 3 searches a day. Sometimes it'll give you a lot of things, other times it won't. But it's called Answer the Public because it's focused on questions, right? There we go. Okay, so basically as we scroll down the page here, you can see that it's like, okay, here, folklore, will a wisp, whatever that is. Why study folklore? Why are folklore and Evermore sister albums? Why folklore is important? Why folklore is the best album? Who studies folklore? But anyway, it gives you all of these different things that people are asking for around folklore. And then it also lists them out. So if you come down here, you can see all the different things that people are looking for. So with this, you can do this on whatever type of content you make. If it's around a game, if it's around a hobby, if it's around, books, if it's around, anything like that, you can use the same exact tool for the same exact way in order to come up with, video ideas. Now, in addition to that, you also have YouTube's autocomplete. So here, if I were to do folklore, since that's what we're going for here, then we see some folklore options, and I just type in folklore right up here at the top. And then we're going to scroll down and we can see just different things that people are doing with folklore. So it doesn't seem like a lot of it is a home run for folklore outside of folklore stories, maybe, and folklore clean, maybe. But I'm going to hit A. I'm going to hit space and A. And then here, we're going to start looking for additional things, right? And then I'm going to do backspace B, and then same exact thing, right? And you can just go through the whole alphabet doing the same exact thing. And then over time, you're going to end up coming up with a bunch of different things that people are interested in around the type of content that you make. And then you can do other things where you add words at the front of it, like best, right? And then now we have best folklore horror movies, best folklore books, all of that. And then you do the same exact thing, A, and then you get all these different options here. Like just using this by itself can help you come up with an endless amount of video ideas. And these are things that your viewers are actually looking for and interested in, right? So it just helps you make sure that what you're making is stuff that your viewers are already proven to be interested in. And then you can do the same exact thing where here I'm just going to do top folklore. And then we don't have a lot, but movie, songs, Argentina, things like that. Unknown, let's try that one. unknown folklore music stories, music videos, creatures, right? Like unknown folklore creatures, right? That by itself could probably be an interesting video, right? But the idea is, and this is a really great question. And the Born 100 Years Too Late says just for search-based content ? No, this lets you know what people are interested in because people are searching for these things, right? So even though if you're making content for YouTube's recommendation system, which is what most people do, this helps you understand the things that your viewers, the people who are interested in your content, it helps you understand what it is that they're actually, interested in, right? So yeah, so you can use it for that. You can also use Google Trends for this, which we went over last week. So I'm not going to pull it up now. You also have tools, and this is an interesting thing that you can use. So like, let's say, like right here, as you can see, I listen to a lot of music here. So here, if it was like Cursor versus Claude, what's the best AI coding agent? I can click on this little creative fuel icon and I can say reimagine for my channel. And then I hit that, it's going to open up this side panel and then we'll see what it gives us. As it's sitting here going through its process of reimagining the video, it's going to look for another example just in case. So here, YouTube Shorts versus TikTok clips, which drives more engagement? Adobe Premiere versus DaVinci Resolve, which offers better features for YouTube? AI thumbnail generators versus human designers, which creates more clickable thumbnails. But what it did is it's saying like, okay, this is something that somebody did in a completely different niche than mine, and I like the concept. And this is just a really quick example, but it's like, hey, I like this concept. And then you basically just click the little icon there, and then it gives you this panel, and then you can just keep generating more if you want, and it can give you a bunch of different ideas around that too. And that's another great way to come up with video ideas. This particular tool is called Creative Fuel. I think the website for it is creativefuel.ai, I believe is what it is. But it's called Creative Fuel if you want to check that out. But that's another, really good way to come up with video ideas and just kind of like it helps you take things that are popular or that people respond well to in other niches and introduce something new to your niche, right? Which is pretty cool. K&J Lumber says, I just realized basically what I said is just do my research for me. All because they're saying do lumber. I'm actually just out of curiosity. Lumber. So it looks like there's a Lumber Tycoon video game that you're probably going to be competing with. Lumber Axe, Lumber Acres, Lumber Anatomy, Lumber at Lowe's, Lumber App, Lumber and Ojo Babe, whatever that is. If we do best lumber, and I know I took my screen down, but hold on. Let's see here. Best Lumber Tycoon. Yeah, you're competing with a video game here, so that should be fun to stand out. But fortunately, YouTube will be able to figure it out. But anyway, you get the idea. So when it comes to video ideas, like you should never be at a loss for what to make videos about. Now, if you're making 100% completely original stuff, like let's say like Mr. Beast is, and even in his case, it takes inspiration from, other things that happen from, game shows and past shows that were on TV and like Squid Game and like stuff like that. So even with what he's doing now, he still gets inspiration from other places too. So, in terms of figuring out what it is that people, are interested in around what it is that you're doing, you should never be at a loss of what to make a video about. Yeah, Melinda Elliott says, I made a comment somewhere the other day, and then I saw someone made a title and a video with those exact same words. Yeah, that kind of thing happens too. And the reason that happens, is if you make a comment on somebody's channel and you're an active user there, they might see that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is an interesting way that people are thinking about that. So let me make a video about this, and then they'll run with it that way too. So next up on our list here, we've got Eugene JB for our next question. And by the way, if you are just joining us, we're talking about everything related to YouTube. There's a form down in the description, or you can go to nicknimmin.com/ask, and it'll redirect you to the same form. Basically, all you have to do is put your question into that form. It's free to do, and we should be able to get your question answered on the stream today if you get it in there. If you get it in there soon. So Eugene JB is the next channel. They upload one time per week or more. They do calisthenics and fitness content. The goal of the channel is any free resources to give you title ideas that get a good click-through rate. I use ChatGPT so far and the results. Do you have any tips on how to ask ChatGPT? Yes. So when it comes to ChatGPT, so first off, TubeSpanner, which I mentioned earlier, that has the note-taking thing. It also has the browser extension and all that. Inside of their extension, I can show you this here real quick too. So there is an upload. Here, let me just do it this way. So here, there is here. Let me pause this because this is going to get real confusing there. So basically, right up here, if you go into their upload assistant, so I'm just going to open this up here, and then I'm going to go to the upload assistant. So there's this little area right here called title inspiration. So here, what you can do is you can click on that, and then if the video is about, let's see here, what was the topic here for this? Okay, calisthenics and fitness. So let's say fitness tips, and then here generate AI titles, and let's see how it does. Putting into the test right now. Quick fitness tips for everyone, easy fitness tips for beginners, top fitness tips that you'll love, essential fitness tips guide, fitness tips for busy lives. So the difference that you're going to see here compared to ChatGPT, and this is all just based on the prompting and stuff, because I'm sure this is pulling in API from a handful of different AI sources in order to do this. But basically, what this is doing is based on the prompting itself. It's instructing it to not use colons and things like that ChatGPT is kind of famous for. Tips, let's see here, fitness tips for over 40. And then we're going to do it again, hit the AI title generator. And then fitness hacks for 40, stay fit after 40 tips, top fitness tips 40. So not 100% nailing on these. And I would prefer if it had a bigger list, right? In terms of like, hey, like give me like 20 of these. But this is just one place that you can start. And when it comes to ChatGPT, a couple of things is first, make sure that you tell ChatGPT to work as act as a expert copywriter and an expert YouTube title writer or YouTube title expert. And with those two prompts, that should kind of get you started there. But you can also tell it to not use colons. Don't give me any suggestions that have colons. Give me 20 different ideas, those types of things to help you be able to, to tap into it a little bit more. But the idea when it comes to ChatGPT, and just in case you guys aren't using this, you can use it for content strategy. You can use it for, you got to be, there's a fine line, and I got to make sure that I make this clear as I start talking about this. But when it comes to using AI tools and ChatGPT and title generators and like all this stuff, you have to make sure that you are being mindful that it is sharing information with you based on your prompts and, things like that. However, sometimes it might not give you something that is good. So you still need to learn how to be able to identify the output that it gives you. So for example, if you're prompting ChatGPT to help you with your content strategy, say, hey, over the next 90 days, I can publish this many videos per week. I can do X amount of live streams. I can do this many shorts, this many long form videos up to about this length. The goal of my channel is this. This is my target audience. These are the particular, pillars or buckets of content that I have. These are the events that are coming up, that I might, be wanting to talk about, things like that. Like when you feed all this stuff in there, then what can happen is it can give you a result, but that result may or may not be a good result that applies to you and what it is that you're doing. So even though it gives you a result, you should definitely make sure that you are just looking over and just sitting back for a minute and being like, hey, this is great, but is this going to be a good fit for, for what it is that I'm trying to do? Does all of this make sense? Do I need to modify it in any way? Those types of things. And also try to, like, one thing that I'll do when I'm using it, especially if I'm trying to come up with ideas for stuff or like unique ways to say things or whatever, is I'll ask it for unique things. I'll say like, help me come up with something that's unique. So instead of using all the boilerplate stuff that you normally would recommend, give me something unique that maybe you haven't given as many people or something like that. Then I'll add little things like that to it so that hopefully it'll try a little bit harder. And in addition to that, ChatGPT also has the deep research mode now. So with the deep research mode, you can also use that to just kind of help you just kind of dig deep when it comes to title ideas and video ideas and strategy and things that are happening in your space, all kinds, or your niche, all kinds of things like that. Yeah, you got to learn how to create effective prompts. But the thing when it comes to creating effective prompts is, without question, yes, we got to learn how to make effective prompts. But all of that is just getting easier and easier, right? Because the systems are getting smarter and smarter, and because of that, it'll get to the point. I mean, it's pretty close already to where you don't have to be a prompt engineer if you're just using it for regular stuff, right? Now, when it comes to using it, like I have a feature in my app that's coming out that is an AI tool, and I've spent probably 2 weeks just on the prompt for one of the features in this particular tool, or one of the features in this app. And the reason for that is because this particular feature is going to be something that can be a game changer for content creators. But it's also very nuanced. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take all of the knowledge that I have and plug it into this thing, and also make it to where it's using more of my instruction versus just general, but it's more focused on the exact things that I am, programming into it, or the making for it, so that when you go and you start using it, you're going to be like, okay, hey, this is actually giving me something that I can use, and it's all actionable stuff. So that particular prompting thing has taken me about 2 weeks so far, and I'm still fine tuning it. I was showing it to Daniel Batal today, and he was giving me some feedback on it. And one of the things with it is that he was like, hey, this is really cool. And he was like, what's interesting is that he's putting some stuff into it, and the stuff that he's putting into it, like he's like, it's in alignment with what it is, the way that he's thinking about, the grade, so to speak, that it should be getting. So really cool thing. And I'm excited to show it to you here probably in the next couple of weeks. Derral Lee's in the house. What's going on, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Jumped in to get on Chantel. Hope you're doing awesome, my man. Nice to see you in here. Daryl's got a stream coming up, by the way, at the end of this stream. So I've already got it set up to redirect over there. So you guys, especially if you're a business content creator, you definitely want to make sure that you check out that stream after the stream today. Hope you're doing awesome, Derral. So next up on the list here, we've got the Wool Patch. The Wool Patch uploads 1 time per week or more, does knitting and crochet content. The goal of the channel is to connect with others who like what they like. And the question is, which software gives the live streamer a notification midstream of a super chat? I'm a pro Ecamm user, but the don't stream to have much. But they don't seem to have much integration with YouTube. They can't even show on screen if the viewer is a channel member properly, let alone play a super chat notification to the streamer that someone has left a super chat. So there are tools for this. Like I think it's Nightbot, for example. It does some of this. I know Streamlabs does some of that. I'm not sure if EVMUX does that or not, but you might want to look into them as well. But I know some of those are, plugins that you would use with something like OBS. I'm not sure if they work with Ecamm or not, but those are, some options for you to check out. Next up, we've got Eaton Beach Treasures. They upload when they have time. The type of channel is metal detecting and gold prospecting. The goal is to quit their job and to be a full-time YouTube content creator. And the question is, do you think it's worthwhile to do a lot of shorts to try to build up our channel? I know that I have to get as many more long videos to build up hours. I'm happy for any good or bad feedback. So shorts can be good for content creators. So, if you lean into YouTube shorts and you look at it through the lens of, I'm making YouTube shorts content for people that are in the short shelf, then in that particular case, you can do well in shorts if you learn how to make good shorts, just like you can do well in long form if you learn how to make good long form videos. So the idea is, when you are considering making shorts for the channel, just thinking about, okay, how, for the people that I'm trying to reach with my content overall, what could they really benefit from if I were to put it into YouTube shorts, or what could I really entertain them with if I were to make shorts with it? But it can be great for growing your channel, spreading awareness about what it is that you're doing, because people that see the YouTube shorts may or may not see the long form content. So it's a way to introduce people to you. In addition to that, if you get a lot of views on your shorts, they can generate revenue. Of course, you can generate more, if you get the same amount of views on a long form video, but, they can generate revenue for you. But the big play is that they just spread awareness, about you. So if you consistently give value to people in YouTube shorts, then some of those people, think of it as a numbers game. Some of those people are going to transfer over into the long form just because they like your stuff, right? So if they watch shorts plus they watch long form content, then they first get to meet you in YouTube shorts, and then maybe they keep seeing you from time to time in YouTube shorts. Then if they really dig your stuff, then they might be a part of it. Absolutely. Doug, yep, just got the message there. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So give me 1 second here. I need to get myself kind of prepped here. Doug, do you want to here? I'll actually share the invite here real quick. Doug, if you want to look inside of Streamsy. There we go. So I think we might have a special guest hopping on here, ladies and gentlemen. Super excited for this one. Give me 1 second here. All right. So I think I just got a message from Doug, and Doug mentioned that Derral Eves might join us here. So I just dropped the link in there, and I'm going to hop on Facebook really quick and send a message here as well. There we go. Give me just 1 second here. Oh my. Yeah, let me delete that. Thanks, Doug. I didn't do that in the private area. Oh, that's hilarious. Glad that so that's so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. So now people are just gonna be randomly jumping in. Hopefully not. There we go. I just dropped it in the mod chat. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody, we can have a party here. Oh, there we go. All right. So that link is out and all of that. So we'll see, we'll see how this comes along here. And I got to make sure that I unmute this so that I can hear everything when it comes on. And all right. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. So we will keep going in the meantime. So the next question that we have here is from Hustle House is the name of the channel. They do daily content. The type of channel is affiliate marketing, promoting side hustles. And the goal of the channel is to quit their job. And the question is, are raw, unpolished videos or scripted videos more popular for audiences? Depends on your audience, depends on how good you can communicate. In some cases, if you can just turn the camera on and you can make a nice, tight piece of content, you can deliver value through that content. It can be more than enough. Other times, people need to do multiple takes, things like that. People want to present their content in an edited way. By editing the content, you can deliver something that is just more tightly packaged, where maybe you don't go off the rails, so to speak, in terms of the conversation. You can stay really focused, when you are making the video that was put together. You'd be able to pre-plan it. Where, if you are just going off the cuff and you're making some unpolished, video, then in that case, you might just waffle on all over the place. Whereas if you have a scripted or at least a bullet pointed video and you recorded it that way and intentionally recorded for the sake of the edit, then in that particular case, you can probably put something together that's a little bit tighter for your viewers. But there are plenty of YouTube channels out there where they just turn on the camera and they will just talk to the camera. And even with those, like in a lot of them, they are edited a little bit, but a lot of them, will be, one takes or just like a few cuts here and there. But it really depends on, your content, depends on your subscribers and all that, and how you communicate. How you communicate is going to be a really big part of it. So if you're a really good storyteller and you can just have people leaning in and just really, into what it is that you're saying, then in that case, you're going to have a better chance at that than if not, right? So some people, same thing happens when it comes to live streams too, is some people will just want to do live because it's easier to do because they don't have to edit the video. Some people want to do one take videos because they don't want to have to edit the video, right? So in some cases, it's like, hey, I'm going to do the one take video because I'm a good communicator, or I'm going to do the one take video because I don't want to edit. Right. And in that particular case, then the skill sets that you have to learn is I have to learn how to be a good communicator if I'm not going to edit my videos. It's a good question, though. I think it's the first time I've ever had that question. So the next question that we have here is from Game Punk. They do daily content. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do gaming content. The goal is to make some money. And the question is, I actually started my gaming videos with commentary, but I noticed I'm not growing, so I stopped it. And I started with no commentary videos, and I'm getting views. Should I risk it and switch back to put commentaries on my videos to just see if it gets clicks, or should I just stick with uploading non-commentary videos? Please advise. Here's what I recommend. And I know that this is probably going to sound very general, and it's probably not going to be what you're looking for because you're probably wanting me to say, like, do this, right? But when it comes to YouTube, you're going to be doing this for a while. You're going to be making lots of content over time. And because of that, I believe that you should try to make the content that you want to make. And you should learn how to make that content in a way that the people that you are targeting with that content are likely to enjoy it. Right. So if right now when you're doing commentary and if they're not enjoying it, then you might need to work on your communication. You need to work on actually maybe scripting that commentary out. You need to work on, those types of things. Whereas when you are not doing the commentary, then you don't have to worry about, any of that. But if you are, doing the commentary, then you need to learn how to do that particular part of it, learn how to, introduce stuff when, the video starts and all of that. But I would think about what you're trying to build and who you're trying to build it for, and then lean into that for your answer. Because, you don't want to just be like, hey, my no commentary videos are getting views. Therefore, I want to remove my own voice from what it is that I'm creating, literally and figuratively, right? I want to remove my voice from what it is that I'm saying, just so that I can get, more views on my videos right now, instead of thinking about the future and what it is that you actually want to build. Because when you're building a YouTube channel, you're building, an asset of sorts to where, you're going to be able to generate income from it. You're going to be able to make an impact of some kind, from that channel in terms of, people that watch your videos, and you're able to say things to them to where, you might make them think about things that maybe in other cases they might not think about it or whatever. But, your channel is going to have an impact. It might be big, it might be small, but you're going to have an impact on some of your viewers. And because of that, I would just think about, what is it that I actually want to build here? And then start figuring out how to make that type of content that gets a response. The way that I want to frame this is think of it like a short-term loss for long-term gain, right? So if the commentary videos aren't doing that great right now, but it's something that you really want to do and you want to be a gaming commentator, then in that particular case, learn how to be a gaming commentator that people respond to. And what it's going to come down to is it's going to come down to the skill sets around that. So you got to learn how to communicate effectively, how to be entertaining, how to, tell stories, how to, keep people engaged, that type of thing. And when it comes to the no commentary videos with that, you can just play your games and, it's not, as critical there for the commentary side. But if you want to be a commentator, learn how to do it. Let's see here. So next up on the list, Marios Maitu. My pleasure. My pleasure. Stanley Orchard in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope that you are doing great. Nice to see you in here. iFun Chris. Yeah, so we actually, Chris, we used to do a live call-in show. That was fun. And I have had streams where I brought people on just randomly. It's been like, hey, you want to come on the stream? I had a stream that we did here, I don't know, it was probably 2 years ago, where there was a guy in the stream and he was like, yeah, I'm terrified to go live. He's like, I would love to, but I'm terrified. And I'm like, hey, let's DM on Twitter and I'll get you in here right now, trial by fire. And then my brother, he used to do a stream where he would, the whole purpose of the stream is to get people on that were intimidated, or not intimidated, but they were just kind of, worried, or uncomfortable with streaming. So, he would just bring people on and let them stream on his channel. So that type of stuff is really cool. I think because he's in that like ramping back up process for his channel. And I think he has that as part of his plan that he's going to be doing into the future for bringing people onto his live streams. Claw and Order is our next channel here. They upload one time per week or more. They do pet channel with cats specifically. The goal is to make money. And the question is, how can I gain more watch hours besides going live? My videos aren't really being pushed out. Is there anything I can do to improve my videos or channel, length of video, content, etc.? So when it comes to gaining watch hours, besides going live, you need to publish videos that are going to keep people watching for a longer period of time. This isn't what you want to hear, but part of the thing that you have to learn to do as a content creator that you can't bypass is you have to learn, and this is why the requirements are there, is you have to learn how to make content that people respond to at a certain level. It doesn't have to be the best content on YouTube, but it has to be good enough that people will stay engaged in the content, and then you end up earning your watch hours through that. So there are things that you can do in terms of, yes, live streaming. As long as you have people hanging out in your live streams, that can help you generate watch hours to meet the, the requirements. Also making sure that you have your channel set up properly so that people can easily find more of the content, making sure that when you are planning out the videos that you're going to be publishing to your YouTube channel, that you're thinking of it through the lens of, okay, I'm going to publish this video, on this day, and the people that watch this video, if they enjoy it, which I'm going to try as hard as I can to make it to where they can, if they enjoy it, then I'm going to make this video next. And if I make this video next, this video is something that the people that watch this video are really likely to enjoy. And then the one after that, that video is something that the people that watch these other two videos are also really likely to enjoy and be interested in. And then you kind of rinse and repeat that process, right? So as a content creator, what you're going through right now, like trying to hurry up and get that watch time, like I get it, but you have to go through the process of learning how to get people watching your videos. So one thing that you can do is publish more so that you can have more videos going out and you can learn faster, right? But I don't know if you have that time. So I don't know if you have the time to, make content, and it needs to be content to where you're actively trying to get better with every video. But by doing that and publishing more and learning from every video you publish and practicing more than most people, that will help you be able to reach that finish line of getting monetized faster because you're practicing more. So as long as you're being intentional about what it is that you're doing, then the likelihood of you reaching that milestone faster than if you're at your current upload cadence, it's going to be much higher. Good question. Okay, so next up on the list here, we've got, and Claw and Order, by the way, love that channel name. Hey, Ron Trains and Things, thanks for the super chat, my dude. Appreciate it.
Super chat.
Says, as I prep to go full-time within 36 days. 36 days. Love it. I'm building an email list for a newsletter and marketing. Any advice for getting started? So for your newsletter, just make sure that you are sending out, emails on a regular basis, because when people sign up for that, they are expecting, to get emails. So make sure that you do use it. One mistake that I've made is, I've had a huge email list. I've still got a decent sized email list, but I go in and I just clean it out from time to time because I don't use it. Right? Like I hardly ever use that email list. I've considered like hiring somebody to do it. I actually did hire somebody to do it. But I have some like technical thing that I have to do on the back end that I just haven't gotten around to. But once I do, then she's actually going to start sending out emails on a regular basis on that too. But at the very least, one thing that you can do, Ron, is set up a sequence. I don't know exactly what you're going to be sharing in your newsletter. So I don't know if you're going to be keeping people up to date with what's current, or you're just going to be sharing a bunch of information over time. But one thing that you can do to keep yourself off of the hamster wheel is to create a series to where once somebody signs up, then they start getting emails at a certain cadence of emails that you already have, pre-set up. And then by doing that, you will be able to, to have those going out like clockwork, while you're doing other things without having to show up every single week and publish a new email every single week. Let's see here. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to bring a guest on here today. He is the go-to guy when it comes to YouTube. That's why I always send you there after these live streams are over, after my live streams are over, because he has so much to share and he gives away so much valuable information to content creators. He is personally responsible for the success of some of the biggest content creators on the platform. I'm here right now because of him. So he is a huge value to the YouTube creator community. He's also the owner of Vid Summit. He's the executive producer of the Chosen TV series, and he is also the owner or the head guy for channeljumpstart.com, which is his course where he helps his students blow up their YouTube channels. Derral Eves, what's going on, my dude?
Yo, it's been forever. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Yeah, it has been quite some time, man. Nice to see you, man. I hope that you're doing fantastic. I know you are, but nice to see you.
I'm just super excited. I was actually watching this morning. I'm like, man, it's been so long. I haven't talked to you. So like, I'm going to just see if you'll let me jump on and we can say hi.
Of course. Absolutely, man. You're always welcome here. You know that. Always welcome here.
Yeah. Well, I'm super excited because a lot of the questions that you're answering were really good. Like there's some of the best questions I've seen come across your stream in a while. And so, man, I'm excited to, share anything that I have, in the time that we got. So
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I appreciate you, coming on and being so kind with your, time and sharing your expertise.
Yeah.
Because, because like I said, before you came on, like you're the guy. So,
well, I have fun. I'll be honest with you. I went to the UK. I got invited to go to the Sidemen's charity match, and it was epic, man. I'm not gonna lie. I went to the first one, and it's been a few years, and I went to this one because I was invited. And just to have 90,000 people in a stadium, and having YouTubers play against other YouTubers, it was so cool. And then like the halftime show, just having talent come out and KSI just rocking, the stadium. That was so cool. But it was just really interesting to see how far we've come in the short amount of time. And then to the opportunities. I mean, that day alone, they raised $6.9 million for charity.
Wow.
And it's so cool, of this opportunity of YouTube. And I know that some of you have been on the platform for a while and some of you are trying to figure it out. But realistically, what I love about YouTube and why I try to give back as much as I can is because I've received so much from it. I mean, I for the last 20 years, it's almost been 20 years in October, been on YouTube. And what's been beautiful about it, it's just been a really awesome opportunity to expand whatever you're passionate about. And I've been really lucky and blessed to, take a passion, build up a business based off of a YouTube audience and monetize it in ways that most creators weren't, and now they are, which is great. And then really expand out and do as much as I love. And so I just kind of have a little bit of intensity. I like to take on a project, build it up, and I get bored, and then I either sell it or find a partner or whatever. But it's been so much fun. But I remember there's a couple things that I think I have a gift at. Is one is like identifying talent, and I remember our conversation. I just felt like you had it. There's a sense of presence or whatever. And, it's been kind of up and downs and sideways since then. But look at how much your life has changed. Your brother's life has changed, and it's all because YouTube's been willing to do what no other platform has been, which is really share the revenue. And I know that a lot of people are hard on YouTube, but come on, they've been doing this since 2007, where they've been giving revenue to creators in a substantial amount, and they don't really necessarily have to. Like other platforms aren't really doing it this way. And what I love about it too is how the CEO, Neil, he is like so focused on creators. And I'm telling you, like, he actually cares about creators in a deep way. And he's trying to figure out how's the best way to help creators be more sustainable and give them money opportunities. And so there's a lot of things that there's misinformation. And like one is like the mid-roll ad, like that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Like there's this, they're saying, oh, YouTube's taking this away from us. And I'm like, no, you don't understand the ad platform. I do. And what they're doing is making more money, and not just for them, but for you too. And you just need to make sure that your content is done in a way that it doesn't interrupt, because this is like super geeky, and I don't know if everybody knows.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, this is great.
Well, but what happened was they would never fire an ad. Like there's an algorithm in the ad processing service that would basically see the tolerance level for a viewer, where the ad would fire. But if it interrupted midstream, they would never fire the ad. Like the algorithm was so smart that it wouldn't fire the ad there, but it would never tell the creator, hey, we're not going to fire this ad that you put right here because it's unnatural or it's going to, create a retention drop. And so what we always taught our students to do and my clients and so on is create these moments where there's an ad break opportunity, and that's when you want to hit it. And we actually do it systematic, like we put it in so that we can maximize that. But YouTube wasn't even firing the ad before. And all they were trying to do is give a tool for creators to let them know that, hey, when you're placing that ad there, it's literally going to drop retention. And we're not firing the ad. And they already were doing it before. They just never notified creators on it. So like for me, I think sometimes we like to throw YouTube under the bus because we don't understand what they're doing. And sometimes they're not the best communicator. I'm not going to lie. They're not the best communicator on it. However, that being said, like they go above and beyond. If you have an issue, you go on Twitter, they're going to respond to you. Renee Ritchie is one of the best people in the world. I love him to death. I loved him before he was on YouTube. I started with Renee with Mac Break Weekly way back in the day of listening to him, and then became his friend and seeing his heart is for the creator, and he wants to help the creator in so many different ways. And so the reality is like this is a very big organization, very complex platform. And all their goal is to provide value to the viewer and get the viewer to come back. Now, the secondary goal, and this isn't of the algorithm per se or the AI per se, but the goal of the company is like the more the creator makes money, the more we make money. So let's make the creator more money. And that's what they're all about. And so for me, I can say I'm super passionate about YouTube because of their willing to have partners. And it's an honor to be their partner in so many different ways. And then two, you just need to understand that partnership. And I think this is where your channel comes in because you help us get clarity of, hey, when this changes, you need to understand this. Why? Because this is like terms of service or community guidelines. There's certain things that you need to know. And so to be a good partner is to stay up to date and not just be demanding and expect it, but be synergistic, right? Try to figure out a way to really impact your viewers and bring value consistently, which you do every week. Thank you. And so people want to come back for more. And so for me, that's the beauty of YouTube. And I think too many creators are too demanding on their content. They think their content deserves so many views when the reality is that it's not very good. And they need to really break it down. Like my favorite comment was I had some YouTubers at my house and I have this house where it's a retreat where YouTubers come in and we hang out and, mastermind, strategize. And, these are seasoned YouTubers. I mean, some of the biggest YouTubers on the planet. And there was a new one that was coming off and this new channel, I can't give the name because I didn't ask if I could share it on a live stream, but he was kind of like the sidekick on another channel. And then the owner of the channel's like moving. And so he's like, hey, let's get this other channel going so you can go it. We'll be partners or whatever. And it's been amazing to watch him actually flourish on YouTube and struggle with YouTube. And some of this stuff, I mean, he's getting, 200 to 400,000 views per video release. And, nice. And he's struggling of knowing how hard this really is. And he was like saying, oh man, I don't know why this video didn't perform. I'm like, dude, did you watch the first 30 seconds of the video? Because that was the worst 30 seconds of the video that I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's so cruel. I'm like, well, no, but it is because
it's necessary.
I always put a hat on to say, I'm a new viewer. I have no idea what's going on. And help me understand what's going on. And there was all this assumptions that was happening right here. He was assuming that I knew information that I didn't even know. He was assuming there was along the journey that's been told in 10 different videos. And I'm like, no, man, like you gotta break it down where it's a brand new viewer coming on for the first time and they don't even know who you are. Okay, how do you bring them up to speed and let them know, oh my gosh, this is a great video. I clicked on it, it's a great video, and it set it up for the story. And I don't care if the most amazing moments in the history of all mankind is at minute marker 3. No one's gonna get it to minute marker 3 if they can't get the first 30 seconds. And so like the reality is, it's really breaking it down and really anticipating what the viewer wants. Because when we do that, and we do it because we want to create content. We want to bring value to the viewer itself. Then we're in line with what YouTube really is looking for, which is predict what the viewer wants to watch and keep them on the platform longer. Like if we can do that, naturally you can grow, very, very strategically. So I don't know. So I love the industry, love what it's about. And I love running into people, Nick, that watched you like 3 years ago and they're like crushing it. You know what I'm saying? So like they're like, oh man, I needed to know what was going on. And here was a constant source of information that I needed. And at that time, there's a lot of, YouTube is still trying to figure out how to communicate with creators, and you're filling a huge need. And ultimately, to see where they're at, because it's like, oh, maybe that's what it meant. Even though you said it literally 10,000 times over the last 20 years or whatever it is, right? It's just like, okay, we finally get it. It finally clicked and they're able to apply it, and once they're able to apply it, they see some success. Then they're off to the races, which I absolutely love. So anyway.
That's great.
Wow.
So, one thing that I love is like when people, come in here, like when somebody comes in, like as a new creator or somebody that's starting to take things seriously. I love running into them at Vid Summit. Yeah. Right. Like, because, then they've gotten things to the point to where they're like, okay, the ball's rolling, I've got some momentum going now. How can we take this thing like to the, the next level? So that's why, that's why we're always talking about Vid Summit. That's also why we like to send people to your streams when you stream. It's funny, man. Like every time I schedule a stream, the first thing I look is I'm like, okay, is, Derral going to be streaming so I can redirect the stream when it's over, so that we can, make sure that, people that are ready for that next step so that they can, have a nice place to get it.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think it's great.
I haven't been the most consistent because I'm literally running 10 businesses and I'm just like I do this to give back. Like I really do. I don't have a lot of time. However, this last year I'm like, you know what? I need to be more consistent. And I missed last week because of the Sidemen charity match, but I've been pretty consistent at this year. But for me, it's just more about, bringing people on that we're able to have that click and to have that transition. And then ultimately, they have value to share. And that's where a lot of people, sometimes might hear it through someone else's, discussion or interview. And it goes, oh, that's what it means. Or, oh, I didn't know that was really important. Or, oh, I never thought about that. And that's what I'm hoping to do. And for me, I love it because I love talking to people. Like the person I'm interviewing here in about an hour and a half is one of my students, but he had to make a decision between two channels when he was going through my program, because I only let him do one. I says, you can't do two. There's too much work. Like, I don't want you to lose focus. Like, you pick one. And he goes, well, I'm going to do one where it's my own personal channel. And I'm gonna do that just so I can figure it out so that I don't waste it on making mistakes on the bigger channel. Well, his first video that he did got like 2.1 million views.
Nice.
And
first video on the channel ever?
Well, not ever, but the first channel using my system that I teach.
Got it. Nice.
And it was just like through the roof. Retention was through the roof. It was very intentional on it, and the light bulb went off. Goes, oh. And then he did another video, another million viewed video, and he goes, oh, and so now he'll release a video and he'll get probably like 300,000 or 400,000 right out of the gate, first 48 hours. And then after that, it'll go up to 1 million, in the first month. But what I love was he quit his day job, which he part owned a company. And this opportunity is so big. And he's like, created a service that people would need that watches the business or watches the YouTube channel.
Watches the videos.
Yeah. And was able to create this beautiful business that most people could never do, right? And it's like, oh, wait, how are you doing it? And his topic, like what he discusses is the niche that you're probably thinking, how are they making money at that? And it is literally this. This is the niche.
Is that motor oil?
Motor oil. That's it.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
that's literally his niche. And what's crazy though is he geeks out. He's called the motor oil geek, and totally geeks out on it. But there's an audience for it. And I was like, I was like making fun of him a little bit. Just like, who watches your videos? And my partner in another channel, his name's Matt with Matt's Off-Road Recovery. He's like, I watch every one of his videos. Like, I want to know the little details for performance. Like, that's what we need to do. And I'm like, dude, this is beautiful. That's why I love YouTube, is because there's like an audience for everything. There's riches in the niches. And then two, figure out a way to really monetize. And like, he crushes it on ad revenue, but this other one, it just dwarfs. Like he makes more money in a week than he did all year working for that other company. It's crazy. And so for me, that's what YouTube represents. And I just love it. I just love it.
You know what's amazing is when when a creator hits the platform that is also entrepreneurial minded, and they can start getting traction on what it is that they're doing, and then they start applying that business hat to it, and then they're like, okay, well, what can I really leverage this for?
Yeah.
Like it's amazing what can happen when those two forces kind of meet on YouTube.
Yeah, I would say my favorite filling. And I think the reason why I like to mentor people and help them out and jump on a live stream or two, over time, is the moment that they send me a text or a DM and says, I just quit my job, I'm doing this full time. That's like one of my favorite things of all time. I in fact remember when you did that personally too. It's just like, yeah. I love those messages. And then my favorite message is, it is like, this is totally changing my life. Like there's another, hey, I'm doing this, but now it's like, oh no, I'm making more money than I've ever before. I'm very passionate about what I do. I wake up in the morning, get super excited, and there's just abundance. And so the people that have like this opportunist mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, I resonate really well with, and try to figure out, okay, how do you really leverage? And it was like the YouTubers I had in my home is like, okay, what's going to happen in 5 years? And they're like, well, I don't know how it's going to be. And I'm like, no. Where are you going to be at? Because are you going to be still creating content? What's that going to look like? Who's your audience going to be? Is there money opportunities that you need to start doing now? And you need to start planning right now with those seeds so you can be where you need to be. And it's been beautiful to watch that people take active steps, to see, oh, here's an opportunity that I could take, and it can transform my life. Like one of my favorite stories of all time is I have a friend who we worked in the agency. Like I have an agency, he has an agency, and whenever I needed heavy lifting, like day-to-day grind type stuff, I would always like refer people to his agency. And then when he needs strategy or whatever, he'd refer to my agency. In fact, we worked really close together on some YouTube channels that blew up and, made, billions and billions of views and stuff like that. And anyway, he's like, dude, I want to create. And he's decided, I'm going all in. I'm doing Fortnite creative, and he's all in. And then he learned the more difficult side of being a creator, which is you got to be consistent. You got to grow your audience. You got to understand your niche, which he understood the niche. He really loves that type of stuff. But I remember it was like 2 years ago, he was at my house, and he was like in my, what I call my inner circle. And we were kind of mapping out, okay, what's this going to look like? Where's the money opportunities? What are you going to do? And we kind of mapped out another opportunity. It's very similar to what YouTube was back in 2007. It was happening right there. And I'm like, hey, well, what about this? And it was Epic Games was sharing revenue with content creators. And what happens if you're able to use their code? Okay, great. You actually, if they get playtime, they're actually sharing revenue, and you can make a ton of money. Well, he actually made maps. That's what he did. And I'm like, dude, what if you like synergistically found a way to go from there? And we kind of mapped it out, really just kind of breaking it down, all details of what he could do. And lo and behold, I kid you not, I think there's something about, preparing, and I think it opens your eyes. He was, in a Discord conversation with a really big Fortnite creator, and they started having a conversation that says, oh, I'm doing a map building company where we just build our own games within Fortnite. And he's like, oh, cool. I was doing this. And so they started to synergize. Well, they ended up partnering up. And now they're the number one map maker on Fortnite, and they're making millions of dollars on creating maps. And it's like the coolest thing ever, because he's still doing what he loves. He's actually managing a team. He does operational type stuff of making sure that the programmers and designers and, game makers or whatever are doing their job and they're hitting their deadlines, and then they're doing big brand deals that's integrating within their content, and then they're having fun. And it's just like, that's why I love YouTube. Like, that right there is when you start thinking bigger and you open your eyes for opportunities, the opportunities are around us, and it's more about that synergistic connection. And they actually presented at Vid Summit this last year. It was Chad Mustard, and just totally crushed it, in their business and so much of what creators can do. And so for me, anyway, I know I'm like spewing out. I'm just excited.
No, this is great. This is great. I think things like this are important because, there's, one side of things, which is, sharing tips and answering questions. But I think it's also helpful for people to see and hear the inspirational side of things, right? Because, as a content creator, if you're grinding it out and you're publishing videos, especially if you're in that beginning part of the journey and you can't really kind of see what's coming. Like, I know when I first started and, and I was going along, like, you were telling me stories at that time where I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know like that kind of thing was possible. And, that was 10 years ago. So like now, it's a totally different world. Like, everybody's embraced YouTube now. And just the things that are possible here as a content creator are astounding in terms of the transformation that it can make, in terms of the opportunities that are just available for people. It's just astounding. So I think these types of conversations are valuable, or just as valuable, if not more valuable than just answering some, than just answering, questions.
Yeah.
So because of that, I encourage you to, keep going. And I would like to know from your perspective, from the different creators that you have, worked with and all of that, I would love to know, like what has been the thing that you've seen happen? Like if you could isolate it down into one incident, what's something that you've seen happen to a content creator that they didn't expect, you didn't expect, but had made just a gigantic difference in their life that came from the content that they're making?
So I think that varies. Like, there's different levels of creators. So like one of my favorite, consultations I've ever done in my life. And it was like something that I didn't expect. I got a consultation from a 15-year-old. He was just getting ready to turn 16. And I was going in and I had all these assumptions because I do a little bit of research before I do it. And anyway, we jump on the call and I'm like, well, where's your mom and dad? And he's like, at work. Like, do they know you're on the call? No. He just spent $1,000 to talk to me for an hour. Right. And I'm like, okay. And so we break down, and I was asking, okay, tell me what your day-to-day looks like, when you're creating content, and let's just really try to do it. So at 16 years old, he had 4 employees. His time, he'd wake up in the morning, start editing a video. At lunch during school, he would do his thumbnail. And then right at the end of school is when he'd release. And that was kind of his day, every day. And he would record that night and then edit, do that whole thing. And anyway, he'd work with his editor and stuff like that. But what I loved was when we started to dig in, and I asked him, okay, what is the biggest obstacle right now that you're facing, in your content creation? And he said, school. And I go, wow. And I knew this kind of where it was going. And I'm like, dude, don't drop out. Like, that's not good, Yeah. And I understand where you're at, but don't drop out. And so I basically took some time, was trying to strategize on one thing, which is how do we eliminate school from his day-to-day life, right? And I says, look, you make more money in a month than both your parents working at Home Depot. They worked at Home Depot, all year. Okay, that's what you make in a month. And I go, do they even know how much money you make? No. And I says, well, you can now create a plan. And so we took the time. I extended it. I says, I'm going to give you some life, moments here, and then we're going to go in and give you a YouTube strategy. But the life moment is this: you can afford to hire your own tutor. And you could take accelerated stuff. You don't get a GED. You'll actually graduate from high school. Here, and I gave him some links of some places that he can do. And ultimately, we created a plan of how to talk to his parents and then also, you know, what he could do, because he just wanted to graduate early. He wanted to, you know, get it done because he was just going into his junior year. And I'm like, okay, you can get it done a lot quicker than that. So anyway, getting into it, we went into the YouTube strategy side. He was crushing. He's probably pulling 150 million video views a month. You know,
Nice.
just really, really crushing it. Really smart. And I thought, man, this kid just has so much going from him because he's seizing the opportunity, but he knows what to do. Like, he's just kind of grew up on the platform, understands what to do naturally instead of just trying to figure things out. And so we got on with his mom and dad that night, and it was like one of the most awkward calls in the history of all mankind, because it's like I jump on the call and they're like, why is this, you know, 50-year-old guy talking to me, right? Like, what's going on here? And I says, hey, you know, I'm Derral.
Probably expecting the kid to be in trouble. Probably like, what did he do now?
I'm like, super legit. You can Google me. And I, you know, showed him my book and, you know, this whole thing. I'm trying to create this social validation, right? So that the mom and dads just won't discount me. And I says, do you realize how smart your son really is? And they're like, no. And I said, so-and-so, would you mind just dropping off? Let me just talk to your mom and dad. I'll text you when you jump back on. And I go, this kid is super smart. Your kid's super smart. There's a lot that's going on. And I asked him if it was okay for me to kind of bring you up to speed, but he's been lying to you. And they're like, what? You know, so they're all like freaking out, right? And I go, he actually made, you know, X amount of dollars this last month. And their jaw dropped. It's like they saw a ghost. And he goes, like, he still needs to set up a business. Like, he, you know, it's just all hitting his bank account, but like, he's not legit on this other side. Like, we were kind of going through this whole thing. And I go, I've only seen a few people like this naturally that will come into it. And so, you know, he's going to want to make a request. And so I just hear him out. Don't freak out. Just, he's going to make a request. So I text him, he came back on, and he was on that conversation with his mom and dad. And he goes, I want to just get done with school, and I can hire a tutor. This is the where I can get not a GED, but an actual high school diploma, and I'll put in the work. And so what he did, and this is where it's going to come back to answer your question, was he created a plan. He seized that plan. And what was nuts, Nick, is I get a text 4 months after he started, and he says, I accelerated that thing. I wasn't sleeping. I was going all in. The tutor was a really good thing. It kind of brought me up to speed. But I just graduated high school. I mean, he wasn't even a junior yet. He was going into his junior year. And I'm like, holy cow. Well, this is where it kind of blew my mind and blew his mind. He literally 5x'd his revenue that next month. Why? Because he had more time and he knew exactly what to do. And he spun off another channel. He already had the system in play, and he goes, this is all I'm going to do, and was able to build it up. And then two, he went from 150 million video views a month to about 320 million on one channel. And then this other one was like crushing it. And so I think the thing that surprises me the most about YouTube, and it doesn't surprise me, but it surprises me every time. But when YouTube figures out who your viewer is, how fast you can actually grow, how fast your life can actually change, how fast the viewer comes into the ecosystem. I had two YouTubers at Vid Summit 2 years ago. It's Nico and Cash. They were fast. They were some of the fastest growing channels on YouTube at the time in an oversaturated niche, which is Minecraft. And they came in, and when you watch their content, it's not even edited the same way. It's just like literally drawn out. And it was just like they found their audience, they found their voice, they found their storytelling. And you know what they were able to do is, and they were still in high school at the time. They're seniors or whatever. And they just blew up. And it's just that huge opportunity. So I think the thing that surprises me the most every single time is when you really understand who you're creating content for, you understand that value proposition, that YouTube can really accelerate your viewer. And then that just brings in tons more opportunities, because when the views come in, what you don't necessarily expect is how it's going to ripple down your library. you know, because like, hey, this video pops off. Well, if you literally build it, your library in a very strategic way, I talk about it in my book, you know, called Buckets, you know, it just lifts everything, you know, at the same time. And so it starts a compound effect. And then two, if you have multiple channels that might be similar audiences, maybe 20, 30%, and then maybe 70% difference, it's going to funnel those views where it's going to go to another channel. And so it's kind of tied in where they're either going to go down the rabbit hole, which is in your video library, or it's going to go to a suggested content, which is a close content that they would be more probable to watch. And when that happens, I mean, it's like game freaking over. And so what I love is how fast it can happen and how that transforms the opportunity for creators. And it doesn't mean that you have to be, you know, a kid. It doesn't mean that you have to be Gen A or Gen Z. You know, one of my favorite one is, you know, he's in his 70s, and it literally, all he wanted to do is make $5,000 a month when he came in, and I started mentoring him. And you know, I mean, he's made millions of dollars a year just by posting content and connecting with an audience. And so it doesn't matter what age you're at. All this opportunity here with YouTube is to get in front of the right people that is looking for value. And if you can understand that value proposition and be consistent in bringing that value proposition, then you'll turn a viewer into an active viewer. That's what we always want to do. And then to leverage them as you're consistent to become more of a fan, you know, or a loyal viewer. And that's kind of where I always look at how do we actually go deeper with YouTubers, is to really understand that. And so for me, I think there's so many people that think that they have like a sense of entitlement that their video is so good. And I'm like, well, who did you make it for? I made it for myself. Okay, great. Then only expect one view. You know, don't expect more than one view. You know, you have to realize that we're in the entertainment business or media business, and our product is the video. And if it's just only for us, okay, great. Don't cry when you only get 2 views, okay? You might have 100 views, but if you're doing intentional and say, no, I'm trying to bring value, or here is my value proposition, and I'm going to be consistent with that, then that's when YouTube can figure it out and says, oh, you know, they found it valuable. There's a lot of engagement. There's similar people that have the same type of viewing experience and engagement on certain type of videos that they watch in their watch history that's similar to this video. Let's go put this out in front of them and see if they click on it. And so that kind of goes into that feedback loop of growth. And I'm just always astounded how fast that can grow, you know, when you really figure it out. So.
Yeah, I think also when you know who you're making content for, it makes everything easier too. Like it makes it easier in terms of, you know, like you know who you're serving. So if you know you're making content for those people, then in that particular case, you have to run your ideas just through that filter of like, okay, is this appropriate for them? Are they going to love it? When it comes to, you know, if you do any type of like sponsorships, then in that particular case, okay, is this a good fit for those viewers? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, cool. We'll do it. If it comes to any personal stuff that you create, is it a good fit for, you know, these viewers that I'm, you know, trying to connect with? Yes. Okay, good. Go for it. No, then shelf it, right? Or find another place for it. So I think it just makes everything, you know, a lot easier when you know who it is that you're making when you know who you're making content for.
Well, if you compromise, Nick, then you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve, right? So like you gotta have your guardrails on. It's something that I really focus in on with my people that I mentor, my students. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta know what you are and what you're not. And the moment that you even get close to that line, that's a very uncomfortable moment for your viewer. Not saying that you can't evolve and experiment with things, but there's certain type of viewership that the moment you cross the line, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. It's like, why would you want to do that? And it could be, oh wait, this brand deal is a money grab. They're paying me money, but it has no relevance with the audience. Like the audience is like, that's an odd thing to do. Like, why are they doing that? And then in the back of their mind, like,
I've had that experience. Yeah, I've had that experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I've had that experience personally. I can't throw anybody under the bus, you know, but yeah, I've had that experience where, I've made those choices. And in my without giving details, in my mind, just to let everybody know, it happens to everybody, right? So basically in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is a good fit, and there's going to be people that are going to need this. So because of that, I will, do this deal. I'll make the video about it. And I started putting out content about it, and comments were like, didn't expect this from you. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, and what's funny, man, is like when it comes to things like that, like before I published the video, I'm like it just didn't feel 100%. You know what I mean? It felt like
you
around like
60%. The contract. You already
Right,
signed the contract,
right,
so you're obligated, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but those things happen though, it's behind me now, but like, those types of things, happen. You just have to learn from them and move on.
You, Nick? No, I would say this. It's like, if we don't learn every time we post a video, then what are we doing? Right. And that was a learning opportunity. And was it worth the money? Maybe temporarily for a few minutes it was, but long-term effect, could it impact? Yes, if you went down that road even deeper, then like, okay, what's going on? Did he sell out? Like his heart is not in the right way. He's trying to do this whole thing. Instead of realizing, no, this is very synergistic, and it's like, oh, it's great for the community, it's great for the audience, and then two, it's great for you as a creator because it can bring in revenue that you normally wouldn't do. But I would say, in general, it's that analyzing and adjusting, Nick, that most people won't do. Where it's like, oh, I learned that our audience doesn't like that, and then two, I didn't really think that was going to work right at that moment, and so let's not do more of that. So like in the future, I will literally turn those down. I don't care if they're going to offer me a buttload of money. It's just not worth it to me to compromise where I'm at. And I think when creators do that, I know that they're going to succeed. Like some of them are like so narrow that like, I'm only doing it this way. I'm like, okay, you're never going to win because you're like too narrow, of what you say you're going to do. But it's just like, no. When they say, okay, no, this is the value that I'm going to bring. This would compromise it or compromise the flow of the video. So I don't want to compromise that. And so I think that's when I know that I have a good creator that would succeed because they know their audience well enough and they know who they are and what their brand very specifically.
Yeah, good stuff. Always things to learn, right? Always things to learn. Hey, really quick, we had some super chats come in. So really quick, I just want to acknowledge some of these really fast. So the very first one was Build and Fix with Mooney with some questions marks. I think he was just testing to see if the super chat worked. Friendly, helpful. Granny says, thanks for all your help. My pleasure. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Ron's Trains and Things says, as I prep to go full time, I'm building an email list for newsletter and marketing. Any advice for getting started? So I've answered that one from Ron already, but I'd like to get your input on that as well, Derral. In terms of he's building an email list right now for a newsletter because he's getting ready to go full time in 36 days. And do you have any advice for him for getting started? Because I know you're really heavy on the marketing side as well.
Yeah. So for me, I got to look at what's the value proposition in the email. And I treat email similar to what I treat a video. So it's like, what's the value proposition? So if the value proposition is just to regurgitate or promote your videos that are in there, is that really bringing value? I don't know. Is it going to be additional and or something special? Then absolutely, right? So like for me, I would say, first off, what is the value of the email? And then how often would you actually use the email to bring that value? And so for me, it's like understanding that value proposition, and then also knowing how to go through that sequence. So like if you have an email with an email list, there should be a sequence of bringing value that's automatically triggered once they join. So they're like, oh my gosh, this is so valuable because what I wanted is what I'm getting and it's consistent. And so the email list that I like to employ is twofold. One, where the value proposition is very clear. Number two, that there's a sequence of emails that trigger automatically before they go into the kind of a different list. And then also I like to segment my list so that I know, oh, these are the people that like this type of value. These are the people like that type of value, and not just group everyone in a general list. But you're thinking the right way. My biggest thing is you don't own your YouTube asset. The best way to own your asset when you're content creating on YouTube is to own the contact information and the billing information of the viewers. So that means have them join email lists, have them buy product from you, figure out a way to communicate off of YouTube on other opportunities. And so one of the big things that we always do, especially, and I built tens of millions of lists of email addresses and contact information, but it's like, how often are we going to communicate? And we want it to bring that value or a sense of connection that they're actually looking for. But I would also do SMS if it was me. I think email's great. The open rate on SMS is a lot higher. And there's a lot of great services that you can do there. But if you're building an email list, let's work them to get their SMS opportunity, because that is something that we leverage all the time, especially when you do it geolocated. It's like if I'm going to a specific area with a creator, we can send out an SMS saying, hey, we're going to be over here for a meetup. Like, okay, great. It only goes to that geographic area of where they're actually located. And it's just like a great way to connect and a great way to, like, I always send out free things via SMS. It's like, oh, here's like $100 in our gift store. Thank you for just being on the list. And I do that randomly at times. Or here's a ticket to this if you want to just redeem it here, and it's great, that it works really well.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for that. The next question really quick says, just want to share, I've used the VidIQ title suggestion tool for my last 3 videos, and they were all 1 out of 10s. Nice work on that one. VidIQ is a cool tool. So definitely helpful for a lot of content creators there. Tango in the Kitchen says, Derral's book is looking at me with angry eyes because haven't been able to read it in a while. Life got in the way. So hey, here's the thing. I don't know what happened
in my headphones, but give me a second. I got to unplug and then change to like it just killed. So give me
there we go. Yep. So with this, just as a heads up, there's an audio version as well. So if you are having trouble getting through the written version just because you're busy, listening to it in the background while you're doing other things can definitely be a way to just get the information that you need. Being able to focus it, might be better in terms of, the dedicated time for it, but there's definitely the audio version that you can listen to if you are having trouble, finding the time, to sit down and actually read it. And then Scale Train Station says, I'm torn between 2 channels, this monetized one versus an automotive, which I'm uniquely qualified for. Both demand 110% of my time. How do I decide between the sure thing versus a potential 10 times to 100 times? What are your thoughts, Derral?
Yeah. So this is a conversation I have with all my students. It's like, I want when you wake up, get the most excited. And then also, what is the main reason why you're doing YouTube? Like, is it like, oh, I want to build a business or build this media company or whatever it may be? Tell me what that finish line is. And sometimes it would be, oh, if it's like, could we take that monetization channel that's already monetized and get it so that yeah, it's going to take 100% of your time, but you're going to learn the system. You're going to learn what works, what doesn't work. And then 2, be able to quit your job or whatever you're doing full time so you can focus in on more opportunities. And then 2, you can build the team very specifically around you. So I always like to do that, Nick, of just really understanding where their finish line is to have them choose, but they have to make that choice. And far too many of them are like half foot in one and half foot in the other, where if it doesn't work out very well, then they try to do the other one. Then it doesn't work out very well, it goes to the other one. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is the book. So Trying to Learn It 365 says, what's the book? It's called YouTube Formula. Right here, it looks exactly like this. You can find it. I think I have a link to it down in the video description. You can find it there. You can also just go to Amazon, or I think you can just go to YouTube Formula Book, right? .com.
Chantel, just take it. We'll give them a free book. You just have to pay for shipping. Let's just do that.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. So if you Trying to Learn It 365, if you want to get in contact with Chantel, if you can't get in contact with her, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and then we'll get you started there. Awesome.
And that goes for anyone on the stream too. Like, I don't mind sending it out. If you don't already have the book. So
Nice. Nice. Love that. Wow. Holy cow. That's a big deal. So,
no, what's the big deal is we got to give away Vid Summit tickets before I leave too. So like, let's do that, but not now. But
okay.
Well,
Yeah, whenever you're ready. That's awesome too. Nice. Love it. So the next question, let's go ahead and just answer some questions here just to kind of move through some of these real quick. And we have the College Football History channel. They upload when they have time. The goal is to quit their job and be a full-time content creator. And the question is, how important is it to have a website to accompany your YouTube channel? My real goal is to be the channel that people find when they look for college football history. So Derral, how important do you think it is to have a website for a YouTube channel and basically just secure your brand pretty much everywhere?
Yeah. So I started a new business, new channel every year. Been doing that for a long time. And the first thing that I try to look at is who the viewer is going to be, and then really define what the content's going to be. So this is before we even launch the channel, right? And the moment we have that, it's like, okay, what's our branding? What's kind of be our essence? What is our presence? And there's not a world that I would launch a YouTube channel without creating supportive content, right? And that supportive content would be a YouTube channel, or I'm sorry, a website. And I try to figure out other ways to monetize outside of just getting the view. And some of you might think, oh, I'll do it when I get bigger. Well, do it now when you have time, and you can be more intentional for it, because there's other ways to leverage that. Because like if I'm like seriously, if I'm looking to do a brand deal with you because you have all this volume on YouTube, or I like your videos and I'm like, I want to contact you. How are they going to contact you? They're probably going to go to your about on YouTube and realize that there's an email there. Okay, they're going to shoot you an email. Well, not if I have decent money. If you don't have that social presence and that branding in what you are and what you're not, you might not be able to get the money that you could request. In fact, I actually had a client of mine. This was a client that hired me to kind of do their launch strategy. This is several years ago. They actually got a brand deal, Nick. 7 figures, well over $1 million. It was $1.6 million. And they had 0 uploads on YouTube. But they had a really good website that was able to communicate what they were going to do. And they had videos on that website that was giving examples of what it's going to look like. And then it was ultimately in line with the strategy and plan that we developed. And that brand came on and says, man, it's so synergistic to find someone. And then ultimately we can make them an ambassador for 2 years. Where it's very synergistic, and as they grow, we can go from there. But what it did even better was they did like $1.6 million of a deal, but they also did another $1 million of a giveaway that was integrated to all the new viewers coming in, and it blew that channel so freaking up so fast. But it was very intentional, and they did have some previous experience on Discovery Channel. So they understood content. They just didn't understand it from the level
the YouTube side.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So, website. Another thing in addition to the website is also just making sure that you do secure your name across everything you possibly can, because if you don't and your channel blows up, then other people are going to, kind of squat on that, or they'll use it to impersonate you or whatever. So it's good to have those other accounts just to make sure that you have them. Roger Wakefield in the house says, look at Derral Eves on with Nick Nimmin. Happy Saturday mornings. Roger, my man, cheers.
Dude, I just drank out of that same cup this morning.
This is my every coffee like that I drink at home comes. I've got 2 of these here at home, and we've got a couple in the studio too. Yeah, these are the go-tos.
Yeah, I every once in a while I like the hot chocolate on cold days. It's a little bit colder day, and I'm like, I'm going to do some hot chocolate. I pull out. I'm like, what mug am I going to do? And I'm like, okay, I saw Roger's little icon. I'm like, that's mine. That's what I'm doing. And I like it because it's a little bit bigger of a cup. So
it's huge, gigantic. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. So the next question that we have here is from Catherine Rosario. Oh, Cathay Fit. She does dance fitness content. The question is, I'm thinking of going live, haven't done it a very long time, kind of terrified, and obviously I want to use music, but how do I stream with the music without it echoing. I don't have any fancy tools. I don't know exactly what to do in this situation. I wanted to go live and talk about competition. I didn't win, but I want to talk about my experience and learning lessons. So one thing that you can do without it echoing is you can actually load tracks directly into OBS. If you use StreamYard, you can load tracks directly into StreamYard or EVMUX or anything that you're using. You can load tracks directly in there, and then you can play them right there. But if you are a StreamYard user, one thing that I do
don't do like it sounds like you're not at the ability to do stuff. Just use StreamYard. It's super easy.
Yeah.
Like it's like my mom can use it, and she's in her 70s. It's like don't overcomplicate.
Don't complicate it.
That's like literally is the easiest way to go live. Like there's not an easier way to go live.
Yep. Midwest Murders is our next question. They do true crime content. And the question is, apparently custom URLs are no longer available for newer channels. Can you explain YouTube handles and how we use them to easily direct folks to our channel? All a handle is it is a link, but they just put the @ in there. So basically you can use it just like you would a link normally to send people to your channel. But really, I wouldn't worry about that too much outside of just using it to send people there from like your website or something like that, where those little things are required, or maybe like a link in bio or from your other social accounts or whatever. But when it comes to bringing attention to your YouTube channel, the best place that you can probably do that is going to be, right here on YouTube by making good content that, that serves, a certain type of viewer. So I would focus more on that. But for the actual URL, just put it in your social accounts or put it inside of like a link in bio type tool. Tube Spanner has one of those too. If you are a Tube Spanner user, so you can check out, so you can just drop your links into any of those types of things. But I wouldn't really look at that as a way that you're going to, like gain traffic per se, unless you do have a website that has a lot of, viewers or users on it or something like that.
You mind if I say something?
Absolutely. Jump in at any time. You never have to ask for permission here.
I just want to be clear for everyone on this live stream. Okay. One of the biggest misconceptions that creators have is my channel. Okay. YouTube does not promote channels. It never has, never will. It does not promote channels for creators. Never have, never will. Okay. What it does is it pulls videos to viewers. Okay. So for me, it's more about getting them into watching your videos than anything else. Like there's not a world. So I would rather have them go to a video than I would rather have them go to my channel. Like there's not a world that I try to get them to go to my channel page. And in fact, I want to one of the things I'm doing even in email is I don't give them a link to even go to a video. Sometimes I'm like, oh, just go find us on YouTube. I make them go search naturally on it. It feels more natural than do it. Yes, I'd probably have a higher click-through rate if I did it, but just think about someone that really wants to find me, and they're discovering through searching and finding, that whole aspect and going deeper. It just it feels so natural. And then two, they're more committed to actually watch the video instead of a click. Like, that's not what I want, to jump off. So for me, I believe, hey, it's really good what Nick said on your websites and other social things from there. But ultimately, I would always try to push it to a video as much as I could. So
I like that idea of pushing to a video. I've never really thought about that instead of sending people to your YouTube channel. So for that, would you just send them to just a high performing video on your channel that has been proven to, for other people to, enjoy compared to the other content? Or would you make something unique that would be just kind of unlisted for those particular viewers so they can kind of get a feel for what it is that you do?
I would say you just have to understand where they're at. So where they're at, what would be the most natural next step? And whatever the most natural next step is the video that I'd select. Okay. If it's too disconnected, and sometimes those promo videos it's like, oh, why are you self-promoting? What? But if it's like, oh, here's value, here's a similar value proposition, let's send them to that. That's generally what I do.
Yeah, that's good. I love that idea. Yeah. So like, let's say, for example, somebody like Build and Fix with Mooney, just kind of, throwing him under the bus here. So like in his particular case, because he does a lot of DIY stuff, then on his social accounts, then linking to like a general DIY tips video or something like that might be the move if somebody's engaging with him over on, like Twitter or something like that. Am I tracking that right?
I would say yes. Just because when you go there, if it's a really good video, number one, and then one of the things I really love is like if there's a little bit more intentionality of, oh, this is a video that will help them know what I do without saying, hey, this is what I do. it's just like, okay, great. And if they start engaging with the community, it's like, oh, okay, I'm all in when it comes to this. And then people know what to do, guys. Like, you don't need to put some secret link to get them to subscribe or have the thing pop up. What you do is like, okay, they might hit subscribe, but I can tell you right now, YouTube doesn't care about subscribers. They never have, never will. Well, I guess they have. I would say since 2013, they don't really care about subscribers. They just care about active viewers. And so for me, I would rather have a view than a subscriber every single time. And I would rather have an active subscriber. That means somebody that's watched more than one video within a certain amount of time.
Love it. Next question, oddly, from Build and Fix with Mooney. Says, I woke up too late to get to this. I think, is there a good book to learn better YouTube titles? Yeah, I think you cover titles inside of your YouTube formula, don't you?
I do. There's a whole section in there. Yeah, it goes pretty in depth. Titling. I think titling is really important for people because what happens is it brings in curiosity. And if you're consistent with that type of curiosity proposition, they're going to click. Curiosity always garners the click, always,
or kills the cat. Which
it can do that.
Depends on the perspective. So the next question here is from the friendly, helpful granny. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do educational content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, I use VidIQ free version, constantly asking me to upgrade. Many people recommend them, but I'm not feeling it. I know that I should trust my intuition, but so many people say that they help build your channel. What are your thoughts? I can take this one. So when it comes to using any YouTube tool, I recommend that you try all kinds of YouTube tools. And the reason for that is because there might be one tool that you use in this one, another tool that you use in this one, but you look at them as tools for the tasks that you're trying to accomplish. So for example, if you're trying to build a house, you'd probably have a hammer in there somewhere. If you're trying to build a house, you'd probably have a wrench in there somewhere, but you wouldn't be using the hammer for every task that you did. You wouldn't be using the wrench for every task that you did. So because that, find the tools that are helpful for you and don't look at it just through the lens of, okay, on the landing page, it says that it's going to help me grow my channel. Look at it like, okay, what specifically about this is a tool that I can use to help me work more efficiently, or to help me better understand what it is that I'm doing or understand the audience that I'm targeting. If you can identify that, then try the tool out. If you can't, then in that particular case, you might just be using something for the sake of the hype and not necessarily for it adding value to you. But one thing that I can say is that when it comes to, VidIQ, it's a good tool, for certain types of creators that are trying to do, very specific things. So, try it. But in your particular case, if you don't feel that you're getting the value that you want out of it, then in that particular case, then, you can always cancel your subscription or just choose not to upgrade and just use the free tools.
So let me tackle this one too. If you think it's going to be a magic wand,
I didn't want you to be on the spot there. That's why I was like,
no,
I'll take this one.
I love VidIQ. I love like what Rob Sandy's built. Yeah, I really do. But if you think the tool is a magic wand to magically take you to the next level, no, it's not going to do that. What a tool will do is give you clarity and save you time if you know what you're using it for. And I would say, there are creators that use these tools to get clarity on optionality and then also helps them make decisions. And then there's other creators that have never used a tool in their life outside of Creator Studio, and that's the best tool that you could ever use. So
there you go. Yep. To pretty aligned, ideas there. So the next one here is for the Fear Oracle. Been on YouTube for less than 6 months. They do unsolved mysteries, strange cold cases, etc. The goal of their channel is to quit their job and be a full-time content creator. And the question is there any specific way to find out who the specific audience is for my type of content? I hear YouTuber help channels always talking about it, but no one really specifically on how to do it. Thank you for your time. Derral.
Yeah, I cover it very specifically in my book. There's a chapter there called Recon It and Research. And then what we're trying to do is like really look at who the viewer is from their demographics, psychographics, what they do online, offline. I go right through and I literally share everything with you. There's nothing held back there at all, but it does take time. I would say go to that section very specifically, but in general, Try to find channels that you feel like would have that audience. Start going through the comments and really start understanding, is that the type of viewer that you're looking for? And then two, if it is, that's your assumption, there's ways to validate. And sometimes we assume things, even with the demographic data in analytics, like there might be like this, 35 plus whatever, and it's really their kids because the kids are using their mom's, YouTube channel, I'm sorry, YouTube account. So you have to kind of use your head too of knowing, oh, okay, that's not necessarily correct, and YouTube might it's only giving us the data that we have, but you have to have it as an assumption until you're able to validate that.
And one question I have for you, Derral, because we did mention to the friendly, helpful granny about YouTube Studio. So in terms of YouTube Studio, for somebody that is looking for those insights to where they can start, kind of leveraging the free tool that's available from YouTube, what do you recommend for people, like when they're going into YouTube Creator Studio? Like, what do you like for your students, for example?
Yeah.
Like, what do you have people looking at? What do you have people utilizing there to better understand their viewers? The audience tab, I'm assuming is going to be a large part of that.
Yep.
But what is it that you have your students focusing on when it comes to Creator Studio and leveraging it for the tool that it is?
That's a great question. So never look at the 1 out of 10 tool. I think it's the worst data for you as a content creator to look at, because it's very deceptive. If you don't know
9 bad videos, it's easy to get the 10 or the 1 in 10, right?
Well, no, it's misleading because it's when you release the video and you might be like 50 views away from a 10 out of 10 to 1 out of 10. And you're like, oh my God, whatever. And then two, there's just a lot of options. So for me, it's very simple. Okay. I love my life changed like completely when I was able to validate in real time. So real-time analytics by far has given me more opportunity to understand than anything else. And so right now, there's no other platform that's doing this that tells you where the traffic's actually coming from. So it's actually saying, oh, it's browse feature, which is homepage or subscription feed. Great. Or it's suggested videos, or it's, external, or it's other YouTube features, which I don't even know what that is. But anyway, breaking that down, but it tells you where the traffic's coming from in real time. And so understanding that. And then I also like to know the device type. There's like, if you realize that, hey, it's browse feature, but it's coming from TV, that they're not going to be switching around very much. They're going to have longer watching times, right? YouTube's going to recommend that type of viewership. But then two, it's kind of a more lean back experience. And so for me, it's like understanding the device type, because you can start understanding the intention of the viewer when it's the traffic source and also the device type. The third thing that I look at, and this is where I really get a little bit more granular, is the most underutilized area on analytics, which is the advanced mode. That literally you can create custom reports, pull in data in very unique things. But what it does, the most important thing is compare. To really compare with the videos to give a really good understanding. And one of the things that I found is a lot of people don't understand the viewership, right? So they don't understand where the traffic's coming from, who's actually watching it, where they're watching it from, because they all assumed, oh, all my viewers is this one type of person. And I'm like, no, there might be viewers that like this type of video and then viewers that like this type of video, and you might be creating a split audience. And the reason why you're not growing is because you're constantly trying to feed both audiences instead of really trying to find the commonality of one audience that want to click on every single one of your videos. And so that's kind of what I look at. I would say in the audience tab, I would say is the second most underutilized area on YouTube. Like people go there and like, oh, my audience, that my videos are videos that my audience love. They kind of go all in on that, but they don't go deeper on that, because it could be one video that's probably recommending those and not necessarily the channel in general. They might have one video that's really performing and it's like, oh, it's going from there. And sometimes it's a short and it's like, maybe that's not the right type of audience. And so you have to be very objective on it. And so what I try to teach them is try to understand the viewer's intent. Okay. And then make decisions based off of that. So like for me, I would rather look at the click-through rate on the traffic source than look at the click-through rate on the channel itself or the video itself. Because when you do it from the traffic source, you realize, oh, okay, here's my baseline when I release a video. Is it above or below? Maybe I need to switch out my thumbnail because it's below. Not, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just use the A/B testing tool to test my thumbnail. No, that's the worst thing you could ever do right when you release the video, because the most loyalty that you're going to get is in that first 48 hours. And you should have a really good idea of what is a good click-through rate, what is a bad click-through rate based on the views that you're actually having on that channel or on that video.
And on the A/B testing tool, what are your recommendations for people? Like when it comes to using that, like when do you recommend that people, deploy those tests?
So I generally, with my students, I want them to do at least 3 thumbnails out of the gate. I want to have those thumbnails ready. I want you to be able to move quickly. And I want them to know their own baseline in at least that first 48 hours. So they're only doing that switch because they can see that in real time. Did that actually increase the click-through rate? Did it not? There's not a world that I'd want to use that A/B testing tool in that amount of time. And the reason why is because it's trying to test to see, to validate, when you could do that already and just know, oh, okay, it's this one. It's a little bit below what I normally get when I have this amount of views in this amount of time. Let's switch it out. And then you can see in real time, did it get more views? In fact, yesterday, I was with one of my students that is in my house, and he released a video, and I'm like, dude, your video is like underperforming. Like, how's the click-through rate? Oh, it's below whatever. I said, let's switch to the thumbnail. So my son was literally designing the thumbnail as we were going through our mastermind. So we switched out the thumbnail, and sure enough, it actually just kicked up a little bit. And I'm like, okay, let's just, it did a little bit better than the last one. So there's something that's going on. It could be the title, but right now I think it's the thumbnail. But as it goes, it was able to go out more. Did it switch out again? No, we had to switch the thumbnail again. But realistically, that's what I look at. So the A/B testing tool is like anytime after 48 hours. Basically, when I'm done getting browse feature, views, I would say, okay, now you can implement it. Rarely do I use it in the first week, but I would say, oh, okay, let's look at that. But after the 7 days, I'll probably kick it on. But 100%. If the video always performs and there might be another opportunity to tweak a thumbnail, or this really performed really well. What if we changed the thumbnail? YouTube will go out and say, oh, maybe this is getting a new audience that's clicking on it, and kind of expand your audience from there. So definitely after 7 days, before 21 days, but more importantly, going back to see, oh, is there videos that have gotten views consistently over time? Where do those views come from? Is it browse feature? Okay, great. Well, let's do what a browse feature thumbnail should look like. Well, one of my favorite talks of all time was one of my students. His name's Foot Crunch. He gave a talk 3 years ago at Vid Summit, one of the best thumbnail training in the history of YouTube. And he would get an extra million views by making one of the most horrible thumbnails about 21 days into his video release. And when you look at it, you're like, ooh, is that a really good thumbnail or not? Well, it was because he understood the traffic source, that it was a good click-through rate. It was suggested videos, and he would take his face off and do a completely different thumbnail style, and bam, every time he'd get another million views. And the reason why is there was a certain type of audience that was out there that wasn't seeing him on the homepage, but would see him on this other one, but was looking for a different type of thumbnail strategy. And so that right there is great. And then he was able to really refine it even more once he was able to have that A/B testing tool.
Nice. Love that. So just to kind of recap the very beginning part. So what he was saying there is that instead of using YouTube's A/B testing tool when you first publish the video for that first 48 hours, at least, they're manually switching them out, right, Derral?
That's correct.
So you're manually switching them out so that you can see in the real time. So you can see like, okay, is this actually making a difference or not? Is it helping or hurting? And we're monitoring that in real time for that first 48, correct?
Yeah. If you're not getting thousands of views in that release time, don't even worry about it. Like I wouldn't even go more about it of watching it real time. It's just like more, okay, where are we at? But if you're getting over 1,000 views, in that first couple hours, I'm literally looking at what is my click-through rate on those 1,000 views. And so let's say it's 20%. Okay, great. That's my average that I would normally get on this specific channel. Okay, great. If it's 10,000 views and I'm getting 12%, maybe that's what I'm getting at 10,000 views is more about a 12% on browse feature. And when I release that video in about a 3-hour, amount of time, whatever that is, right? If it's below what my baseline is, that's when I always change the thumbnail. Like if it's below, and sometimes it might be 2% below. I'm like, let's just do a different thumbnail, and then maybe it'll kick up, 10% higher. And so for me, that's what I'm always looking at is manually doing that. Then after 48 hours, I'll actually consider using the A/B testing tool. But if I don't know my audience well enough at that moment, then why am I using the tool, right? I should be able to instinctively know, hey, this didn't work, but this format worked better before. Let's switch that out. And if I see it improve, okay, great. And then I might do it again after 7 days or 21 days.
Okay. And there's a super chat that came in really quick that I'd like to answer too. And thanks for the super chat. Worldwide Folklore Tales says, is it worth branding on all social media platforms? And then once we're done with this question here, I actually want to ask you something specifically about thumbnails.
Yep.
But do you think that it's worth branding yourself across all social media platforms?
Yes.
Okay.
Me too. And the brand could be subtle in the sense of just your face, or it could be the specific colors that you use or the way that your thumbnail represents. When I really work with creators, I'm like, we got to figure out what your brand is for your thumbnail. And when someone sees it, they know that it's your video. Okay. And if you can do that, then that's that sense of, oh, I really like this guy, I'm going to click on it, right? And or I like this girl, whatever that may be. They're going to click on it, and for me, that's what we want it to represent. And believe it or not, you don't have to do that with your face either. If it's a certain type of style, not even throwing a logo on, it could just be the way that it's designed. That can be your branding, and that's what I would recommend.
So thank you for that. So the question that I have about thumbnails is I have my typical, thing that I recommend when it comes to thumbnails. When it comes to content creators, specifically people that are, more getting started with this. So, one of the things that I'll do is I'll go into my comment section, and then this kind of helps me know what videos to make and things like that. Is I'll, open up people's YouTube channels, and my whole thing, right now is like, okay, like when I make something, I just want it to be like, for what I'm seeing, I just want it to like help people get over these humps, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to like my comments, I'll open up people's YouTube channels and I'll look at thumbnails, and thumbnails are just a major pain point. And I think it's just because of the design nature of thumbnails and people's perspective of what they think a thumbnail should be. Like when it comes to a thumbnail, what are some things that you try to have your students focus on for their thumbnails in terms of, grabbing attention, or like that process that you take them through when it comes to making a good thumbnail? So if somebody's just getting started, they don't really know how to make thumbnails yet from any point of view, what do you recommend somebody does to kind of get started with making a thumbnail that helps their viewers, identify the content about something they care about?
Yeah, I would say spend some time on YouTube and what grabs your attention, and then screenshot it. I want you to start screenshotting what grabs your attention, and then I want you to say, why did it grab your attention? And sometimes you need to go a little bit deeper, like, I don't know, it just the way that it is. We'll start analyzing that, and then start seeing the patterns of the consistency of what you're screenshotting. So like that is the easiest way to do it, is when you personally become, the viewer, and like, why did you click on that video? Now, the moment that you said, oh no, I did it because of the title, I would say you are misleading. Okay. Because it grabbed your attention, you first glance, and then you looked at the title, because that's what humans do. They don't go straight to the title. They never have, never will. What they're going to do is what pulls their eye in, and then what goes down there. You're showing the phone there. I do
Well,
that.
no, I was just showing. Yeah, I was just showing real quick because I made an app that's going to be coming out here within the next few weeks, as long as I can get Apple approval. And one of the things that I have in here is that you can share videos directly from YouTube into the app, so you can store all that stuff. And you can categorize it, add notes, things like that. But yeah, part of that was what it is that you were talking about there. So I was like, oh, that's great. That's a good fit there.
Yeah, I do that even to this day. It's like, oh, what's grabbing my attention on homepage, and then too, I have multiple YouTube accounts because I just do a lot of work and we have a lot of channels and stuff like that. So like I'm very specific of what I watch on those accounts, and I'm like, oh, okay, I noticed that this audience that likes this type of content, these are the type of thumbnails that perform really well, and those that don't. And so don't expect every thumbnail to be the same. I'm telling you, I've spent so much money and time, energy, and effort on understanding how to get someone to click. Like, trust me, I've done it, in my career with my agency. Like, it's really, really important, right? And so I really hyperfixate on that. But it really comes back down to what grabs your eye. And does it pull you in? Is there a sense of curiosity of like, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, I hear about that, or oh, I really like this guy. What is that pull in moment? How is going to grab your attention? What's going to pull you in? And some of the best thumbnails, most people can't see the genius behind it. They think, oh, it's not that, but it's like really well where it's laid out. The whole specific nature of what your eye does. I have a whole section in my book that goes through thumbnail science and how your eye goes. And like, I was doing this whole thing that this whole study that Netflix spent a lot of money on, of really trying to understand how humans engage with thumbnails and how they do thumbnails and why they do it specifically. And like my wife, if I go on her Netflix account, it literally reflects the things that she's interested in. And when I go to mine, it's like, it reflects, even it could be the same title. It's just, it does that because it's that smart of understanding from there. And then two, the way that they bring things together, humans can only process so much. And so one of the biggest mistakes that most creators will do is like try to over communicate what's in their thumbnail instead of saying, hey, how do we simply represent this and do it from the most simple way, but to pull them in.
Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Really quick, Renee Ritchie, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. We were talking about you earlier. He's like Beetlejuice, right? Yeah, man. Nice seeing you here. Hope you're doing great. Beetlejuice. Yeah. One of the things that's awesome about him as well, Derral, is that he does stuff like this. I mean, he was in the stream before he got the gig, over there. But like, it's cool seeing him in all the different YouTube communities and like doing all that stuff too. Like when he took the job, just to put a spotlight on you real quick, Renee. But when he took the job, like he took that whole creator communication thing to like a whole other level that like nobody had done before him. So like he's just crushing it in terms of that job. I don't think they could have picked a better person. But with that out of the way, Derral, so you've got like we're at like 20 minutes before your stream. So I know you're probably gonna need a little bit of prep time, but hey man, you mentioned some Vid Summit tickets. Like what's going on, homie? You gonna hook us up?
Do that. Let's give away a couple Vid Summit tickets. So
all right. So yeah, like so just in case you're not familiar with Vid Summit, what it is it is a conference for content creators. So we go there every year, and the whole thing with Vid Summit and what makes it different from other conferences is one, like everybody there is sharing from experience. Like it's not like, hey, here's a theory about this or a theory about this. Like everything is about experience, and it's all information that when you leave, you can get to work. Like when you go to a lot of conferences, like and I'm not throwing shade on anybody. Everybody has their own value that they provide. And a lot of other conferences have tactical stuff too. But one thing with Vid Summit is like when you are finished, you're like, okay, this is what I need to go work on. I learned, this very specific thing. They told me the detail that I needed to know in order to actually take this information and do something with it. It has that. It also has a vibe of just inspiration from other content creators because you get to interface with other people that are doing what you do and that love what you do the same amount of love that you have. And that by itself is just super powerful just from like a, making friends who also do this sort of thing, perspective. But it also is the only conference that I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of these things now, but it's the only conference that when I leave, I'm just inspired. Like, I'm just like, man, like, it's not to where you just go and learn stuff, but you go and but when you leave, you're just pumped up. You're like, okay, I'm I'm excited. I've got like the vision. I can like, like I'm going to go do this thing. Right. So it's great for that as well. And you leave with just like ideas exploding from you and motivation exploding from you and all that stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. I can't praise VidSummit enough.
I will say this,
Derral for putting it together, but I just wanted to kind of get that rant out of the way, just to let everybody know what it is.
I'll say the reason why I created VidSummit is because I saw a need. And this is long before people were talking about the creator economy. I'm like, I saw friends of mine that were creating content on YouTube, weren't thinking themselves as a business. And they thought, oh no, I'm an artist, I'm a creator, and then they were starving artists, starving creator, and before you know it, they stopped doing what they're really good at. So it's like I wanted to have the right type of conversations that would open people's eyes of what the possibilities would be, right? And then two, I love learning. And so I wanted to create a platform to learn from people that don't have a teaching platform. So like I curate who goes and goes on the stage, and it's very intentional. I just don't let anybody on the stage. I want people that are willing to share, open up and share what worked, what doesn't work. Not, oh, here's my story of my life of why I'm a cool creator. I could care less about that. They can go do that at some other conference. But it's like, no, I ran into this problem and this is the reason why I did this. Like one of my favorite talks last year was Preston Plays. And he literally talked about making a huge misstep and then reevaluating and going and creating processes and systems for his whole company and how it really catapulted his company, right? I love stuff like that. So for me, it's more about creators helping other creators on stage, but also where the creator that's doing a keynote will go down and sit in the freaking audience and learn from somebody else. And that is the biggest compliment when I see people like that. They're like, wait, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to, I'm not out trying to be with my fans, right? Because there is no fans. It's about colleagues coming together, right? Yep. And where they go and they're sitting either in the back or in a room, trying to listen because they want to hear, they want to learn, they want to grow. And so that's the whole reason why I started VidSummit those 12 years ago. Was I saw people need to have that discussion about the creator economy. And then two, there's a sense of synergy when you come together that you just explained, right? There's something about rubbing shoulders with people that understand the pains that you're going through and can sympathize. But what I really do love is the culture that we created. And that's one thing I can honestly say, and Nick can attest to this. Like I'm more sensitive to the culture of VidSummit than any other thing, because culture is everything. Culture is everything on a YouTube channel. Culture is everything at an event. And what I want people to walk away with is, oh my gosh, I had conversations I would never have. I had opportunities I never thought about. I learned so much in these ways. And then two, the intentionality of who's there. Like we turn people away. We're dumb. We turn people away that want to give us money just to come in front of creators. And I'm like, no, it doesn't benefit the creator. So you're not going to be there. And they're like, do you hate money, Derral? I mean, no, I just want to protect the sanctity of what VidSummit is. It's not worth it for me to bring it in if you're not going to bring value to the creators that are there. And that's why, we are very intentional of who we actually have, not only sponsor it, but also who goes on stage. But the biggest value I can tell you, everything else is the people that you meet there. You never know who you're sitting by. And two, context, you never know who's in the audience and you don't know who they support or where they work at. And so just being open and being curious about what people do, will lead to conversations. Don't be all about, hey, this is what I do and this is what I'm going for, like that. But like, hey, I'm interested. What are you doing? The whole Sidemen, thing, like Sidemen's been coming, their whole team has been coming for VidSummit for years. Nobody really knew. Right? They're just sitting in the audience. Nobody would talk to them, whatever. But the last 2 years, they're like, oh man, I noticed you. Or, oh, you do their strategy. Or, oh, you're the producer or whatever. And it's like, man, it opened up doors, even with creators that went on the soccer field. They're like, oh, we loved you. We never had a contact. Now let's get you over and put you in this charity match. It's going to be massive. So I love seeing stuff like that happen every single day at VidSummit.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Like if you're a content creator and you're taking this seriously, like VidSummit is definitely the place for you. And one other thing too, let me see if I can find it in the chat. Oh yeah, so we had a couple people talking about the East Coast. So here's the thing. It's in Texas now. So it's like in the middle almost, right? I fly there from Thailand, and I flew there from Thailand before I was a speaker there. And it was worth everything. Like my brother, he also comes over there with me as well. So like when it comes to, and I know other people that fly from Thailand to go there also. And once you're there, you'll see people that fly in from like other places from all around the world. Like if we can all fly in from all these other countries, you can fly there from Maine, right? You can fly there from New York, right? Or drive if you have to. Like that's definitely shouldn't be in the way. It's not in LA anymore. Yeah, it's in Texas now. So
yeah,
so
we
definitely
moved
make
out
sure
of LA. Texas was like a really good fit. And it was. I mean, we actually saw more people come internationally when we moved to Texas. So go figure.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a great conference. So yeah,
Well,
we're down to 14 minutes because I'm trying to be respectful of your time here because I know you probably have to grab some water or something maybe before the next stream. So I'm trying to not push it to the to the very end for you there. So yeah, how do you want to do this?
I don't know. What was one question that you liked from someone today? What was one of those good questions? Let's give them a ticket.
Let's see here. I mean, out of the questions that came in today, there was one. I think this might have actually been before you hopped on today. Let's see here. No, it wasn't that one. Yeah, and one thing also when it comes to this, if you cannot make it to Dallas, Texas for some reason, please don't claim this ticket just so that somebody else, can have it because it kind of, wastes it.
To the replays. Like if they can't do it, give them a virtual ticket.
Oh, okay. Perfect. There we go. Let's see here. So I'm just looking through the questions here really fast, trying to find somebody. So this is one just because I like AI related stuff, right now, but it was talking about, getting resources for title ideas to help you improve your click-through rate. And they said they're using like ChatGPT for it so far, and it's helping. But, asking for any tips on how to actually, use that particular tool to, increase that sort of thing. But the channel name here is Eugene JB is the name of the channel.
So Eugene JB, congratulations, you're coming to VidSummit. So if you want to contact Nick or however we're going to do this, or Chantel or whoever, we can get your information and get you that ticket. So
yeah, so all you got to do is just DM me on Twitter or Chantel, either one, and then we will get you sorted. We'll get you sorted there. I'm dropping a link to his channel here, so I have that also for my side.
Let's give a female a ticket too.
Okay. So if you are a woman, sound off. Let's go ahead and get you a ticket also because we got Eugene covered. So go ahead and get your sound off here. Cathay Fit, this is your chance. Come on. If you can make it to Dallas, let's just go ahead and call it. If you can make it to Dallas. Or if Amy Johnson Crow's in here, because I know she's been wanting to go too.
Well, let's give Amy a ticket. There we go.
Amy's been wanting to go for a few years. Hold on.
Amy, why haven't you come? There's no excuses now.
Yep,
you have
boom.
enough time to
there
plan.
You go.
Not till October, so you have enough time to plan.
Absolutely love it.
And let's do engineer your life too. Let's get her coming too.
Okay.
Amy and engineer your life.
Okay, so engineer your life, same exact thing for you. Just send me or Chantel a message on Twitter, and then we will get you sorted there. All right. So yeah, there's three, like right there out of the gate.
Love it. So let me just close on this. Like I think a lot of you come and you come to these live streams to feel connected, right? And get answers to your questions, or there might be some things that Nick says when responding to somebody else that just kind of connects the dots. But realistically, it's all about the viewer. Always will be. It's not going to change. The more that you can understand the viewer, the more you're going to connect. And the viewers need, like, once you understand what are they going to click on, why would they click on it, what's the value proposition. But there's one other thing I usually only share with my students, but I want to know the shareable moment in the video. Like getting them to click is easy. Believe it or not, it's super easy. It's hard to set up the story or set up the video. But once you do that, once you get that down, I want to know, what's the shareable moment? What's the moment that you connect so deeply with them that they're thinking of 4 other people to text that video to? Okay. Because that's what you do. That's what you do when you love something so much. You instinctively have to share. And so what is that shareable moment? And for me, if you know what your title thumbnail is, you know what your intro is, you know how to set up the video, and you know exactly when those shareable moments are going to be, that's going to connect deep, then what happens is you create a feedback loop of them sharing with like-minded people that would get what you're trying to do, and they're more committed to watch. And then that makes YouTube go on overdrive because it's the right viewer coming in. And who's doing that? The viewer, you connected so deeply with them that you're inviting them, because you have that shareable moment, to go and find people for you. And when they come in, YouTube already sees what their YouTube history is and says, oh, they really liked it. They came engaged. The retention on this video was through the roof. They started to binge watch your channel. Well, there's more people like that. Let's go introduce your content to this other people that you don't even know exists on YouTube. And before you know it, that's when momentum happens on YouTube. And that's the glorious thing. That's why, number one, that YouTube is the best platform on the planet. Number two is because they share revenue with you as well. So they find the viewer for you, also share that revenue. So super excited. Thank you so much, Nick. And we'll see you on the next one, man.
Thank you, Derral. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing your valuable time. Always appreciated, man. And thanks for the book giveaways and the Vid Summit giveaways and all the stuff that you always give away so graciously. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. And yeah, so he's going to be going live here, and enjoy your live stream too. Yeah, Darrell's going to be going live here. Yeah, and in just a few minutes. So once this stream comes to an end, then we're going to automatically send everybody over to there through YouTube's redirect feature.
See you in a couple minutes then.
Yep. See you in a couple minutes. All right. Thanks, Derral. So yeah, so as soon as the stream's over, it's going to send you over to Derral's stream, where you can continue to get, that kind of information. One of the things I love about having Derral on the stream when he comes on is one, his willingness to give, information to people, because, everybody has their different, perspectives on, things when it comes to YouTube. But at the end of the day, like, there's things that work and things that don't. And the things that Derral shares, like, they work. And I don't know if you noticed all the play buttons that he has behind him, but that's from him, advising, that's from his channels and that he personally owns, and it's also from advising other people and helping them achieve their dreams of having large successful YouTube channels as well. So yeah, it's just awesome having him come on here and share the information that he knows, because he does just always brings tons and tons and tons of value. And another thing too is it leaves a place to where I can also ask questions that I think that hopefully you'll get value from. Like, for example, asking the question, because I know people ask me a lot, so I know hearing it from him is also, important. But, when people are asking about, okay, you go into Creator Studio, like, what are you looking at? How do you actually use Creator Studio to your advantage, right? And having him be able to give that type of information from, the level of experience that he has. It's just such a awesome thing for him to do when he comes on here, and for him to stream, on his channel. Because he does that almost, every week now. And, with him streaming over there, the same thing, just giving away, that knowledge, kind of like we do here. But he just does it, in a different level, over there, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, so that was great. So yeah, so if you were one of the people, if you did, get the book, make sure that you reach out to me on Twitter. If you just DM me on Twitter, and if you are one of the Vid Summit ticket winners, then make sure that you reach out to me on Twitter as well, so that we can make sure that we get everything taken care of there, so we can make sure that we can get you all the access that you need and all of that good stuff. David Matney, thanks for the super chat, man. Says, hey, thanks for bringing Derral on to your show. It's fun to hear you ask a question. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Doug sent me a message, and he was like, hey, Derral's wanting to come on, and wants to come on. So I'm like, yeah, it's always an open door, for him when he wants to come on here. So absolutely, my pleasure to have him on here. Hey, Two Spanner in the house. What's going on, Danielle? Glad that you enjoyed it. Yeah, it's so great. Like I get energized, right? Like in those conversations, because it's cool. Just hearing that stuff from different perspectives, right? And from different experience. Like in terms of the experience that he has, like he works with channels like across genres. So, the experience that he has, one of the feedback points that I get, like when I make content, is people are like, hey, why don't you make a video for people that make cakes? Or, hey, why don't you make a video for people that only play games? Or why don't you make a video for people that, just talk about, the best places to go in Montana, and, like those types of, things. And, it's cool. But one of the things that I like about the information that Derral shares is he cuts through all of that and he focuses on like, okay, these are the things that you need to know regardless, right? Which is pretty cool because it kind of helps remove your perspective from, I mean, yes, niches matter, but it kind of helps it sink in that when it comes to growing a YouTube channel, there are specific things, but, at the core, there's very, specific things that you do need to, make sure that you're focusing on, when it comes to, getting the traction that you need. So, so just love when he comes on here and shares all that. Yeah, definitely, Larissa. Definitely check that out on the replay without question. And let's see here. Yep. Yeah, me too. So one thing when I first got started, just in case you guys don't know this. So when I was first getting started on YouTube, I had like 150 subscribers. Derral was crossing, I believe it was 100,000 at the time. And he made a video. And in that video, he said, I'm getting ready to, make a celebration video for my YouTube channel. And if my content's ever helped you in any way, then make a video and, let me know. And I made a video and I was like, hey, love your channel. You know what? I'll actually play it for you. I think I still have it on my YouTube channel. And this is young me. If I can find it here real quick, and I'm pretty confident that I still have it on the channel here, but I'll just play it here for you and show you exactly what it is, so that you can check it out. Hold on, let me see here. Let's see here. Message to Derral leaves. Here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna play this here, and just so you guys can kind of see, because this is me at 150 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And what ended up happening, and this is what Derral does to people, is what ended up happening is, we ended up, after this video, sent it to him. He ended up, getting in touch, pretty quickly after I sent it over to him. We ended up hopping on a call, and then we ended up working on a completely different YouTube channel for a while. And then I didn't take his advice, foolishly didn't take his advice. And I took it on growing the channel, but not on how I was managing my own life as it relates to the channel, which is why one of the things that I always like to talk about now is sustainability. But at that moment, I was trying to balance a design service and a YouTube channel, like a lot of you are doing right now, and I just couldn't handle the workload. So because of that, I had to kind of pivot the niche that I was doing in order to be able to do it. But I'm going to show you this video here real quick. Opus Clip in the house. What is going on? Hope that you are doing great. Glad that you enjoyed the stream. But yeah, I'm going to share this with you real quick, and I hope this is going to play okay. But this is hey Derral, my name is Nick Nimmin, and as one of your subscribers, I'm submitting this as a video response to your video about submitting a video for a video response. To answer your questions, I grew up in the Midwest, but I've been living in Asia now for the last 8 years, which has been a pretty awesome experience. My YouTube dreams are to expand my reach as far as possible so that I can educate, help, and hopefully inspire as many people as I possibly can. At the time of this recording, I only have 151 subscribers. That still stands true, by the way, still on that same mission. But I have to say something really awesome happened in my last 2 videos. The first thing that happened is I had my first vocal fan, which was pretty cool, as you know already. She came to my channel and she liked what she saw. She left a comment saying that she thought it was great. She's so happy that she found my channel. And she said that she watched every single video on my channel. That was awesome. The second thing that happened is I did a shout out to a new subscriber on my channel. And I basically mentioned something very cool that she did in her video that was creative and unique. Once she found out that I did the shout out on her channel, she got very excited about it. And she also came in and thanked me for shouting her out. And she thought that that was a very cool thing to do. And her excitement got me even more excited to do even more for my subscribers. So as you know, those interactions really make a big difference when it comes to motivation and being inspired to make your own videos so that you can try to reach and help other people. What your channel means to me is this. It's the #1 place that I go to if I want to learn anything about YouTube. And I think it's great how you try to interact with your subscribers and you do channel evaluations and you do cool things like this that I'm submitting this video for so that you can reach out to your subscribers and have that deep connection with the people that watch your videos. I think that's just awesome. I also have to say that it's icing on the cake that you bring in some of my favorites and some of the other people that I avidly watch on YouTube. For example, when you brought in David Walsh, I thought, wow, this is awesome. You know, two guys that I watch all the time are both going to be here on this channel together. I even left that comment saying how awesome it was on that video. And I think I left the comment on Facebook as well. When you brought on Gideon Showwick, I was like, man, this is just great stuff. Same thing goes with Tim Schmoyer. When you brought him on, you know, because I've been watching Tim Schmoyer forever. Actually, I found him and Gideon Showwick right around the same time. So, you know, both of those guys, when you brought them on, I thought to myself, you know, God, could this channel get any better? And of course, because of that, you know, I've got you in the little gear icon so that you come up in my feed whenever you upload a video. But in a nutshell, if I can break down what your channel means to me in just a few sentences, I would say that it's been extremely educational and extremely helpful with helping me make my videos better and helping me get subscribers and helping me do things to make my channel as good as it can possibly be. But as a side note, even if this video doesn't make your video, I want to let you know that as a subscriber, I really appreciate what you're doing. And I really appreciate you reaching out to the YouTube community and to the people that watch your videos and giving awesome content to everybody. Thank you. And Derral, you've mentioned how important it is to put calls to action in all your videos. So make sure you hit the subscribe button right here and come check out my channel sometime. And thanks again for making educational and informative and great content for all of us on YouTube that are following your channel. And thanks for taking the time to watch this video, because I know you probably had a huge pile of these things to go through. So thank you. Take care.
Yeah. So that particular video, right? Like it's crazy. And I trip out about this all the time. So it's crazy about the choices that you make, right? Like that was an opportunity, and I had no idea when I was making that video what would evolve from there, right? And when I was watching that, or when I was making that video, I had no idea, like what would happen, after. But, somebody that I was watching on YouTube, they put out the, notice like, hey, submit a video. And I was like, hey, let's do it. Right. Let's just, go for it. Let's just make this video. Right. And, that choice, transitioned, through, him transitioned like, everything, from my life from like that point forward. It's just absolutely crazy how things like that can, make such a huge impact, on what it is that you're doing. And with that, because that was, I had 150 subscribers at that point. I'd been on YouTube for 5 months. Okay. 5 months, only had 150 subscribers on my channel. So one thing that I want to remind you of is if you are a new content creator, just like me, at that time, YouTube comes with a learning curve. So embrace that learning curve, because, the way that you get through all the struggles that you're having now is by developing your skill sets and just learning how to do the thing. And it can be extremely frustrating when you're getting started because, you don't know how to do the thing yet. And because of that, it can be frustrating, and sometimes it can make you want to like quit, especially if you're somebody that's wanting to, go full time with this, or if you're somebody that's wanting to use it as like a supplement, for income or something like that. And you kind of need to do it. Just embrace where you're at in the learning curve. And also, give yourself the patience that you need in order to make it through that learning curve, because this is hard. It is challenging. And there is a lot of things that you need to kind of, get into place from the skill set point of view in order to be able to, make it all happen. So because of that, just embrace where you're at in the learning curve. You got this. If I can do it, you saw me there, right? If I can do this, you definitely can do this. So, so hang in there. You got this. Have a great rest of your weekend. As soon as I hit the end button here, it's going to forward you over into Derral's stream. So I'll be here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I will see you next time. Thanks for hanging out.
Hit the sub button, hit the like button. If you're having fun, comment, type something. If you're laying back, leaning in, engage. Just take a second to smash the whole page.